Chapter 3795. Kong Shinmu did not expect Jiang Cheng to be so relentless in his pursuit. Logically speaking, with Jiang Cheng's strength, killing a second-layer Earth Demon and obtaining a second-layer Earth Demon's monster core should be a piece of cake. There was no need for him to target Kong Shinmu. However, Kong Shinmu suddenly remembered the scene from before, when he and Jiang Yuaning killed the 5-colored scorpion. Aren't those 5 people from the South residence? That's right. Jiang Cheng should know that Jiang Yuaning and I still have the 5-colored scorpion's Earth Demon's monster core. That's why he's so relentless in his pursuit. Kong Shinmu immediately thought of the reason. After understanding the opponent's plan, he knew that today's matter would be difficult. The people of the Jiang clan absolutely could not kill each other, but it wasn't as if such a thing had never happened before. Especially now that Jiang Cheng's fiancée had disappeared. This was probably a huge blow to him, causing him to be irritable and easily angered. It was not entirely impossible for him to make a move against Jiang Shenwu. With regards to this, Jiang Shenwu was extremely cautious. If his opponent were to make a move, he would have to react immediately. Otherwise, with the terrifying strength of this thunder-slaying true dragon, it would probably only need a single move to annihilate him. The thunder-slaying true dragon was born with extremely powerful strength. The destructive power of lightning was extremely terrifying. It could be seen from how it killed the second-layer Earth Demon Flower Tiger in one move. Such an opponent was a bit too powerful for the current Kong Shinmu. It was basically impossible to fight against it. But in this situation, Kong Shinmu obviously could not escape from the opponent. If the opponent really wanted to attack, Kong Shinmu would be in an extremely dangerous situation. Of course, it was even more impossible for Kong Shinmu to hand over the Earth Demon's monster core that he had obtained. No matter what, he would not give in. This was not his character. I won't hand over the demonic core. Attack me if you have the guts. Kong Shinmu clenched his teeth. The black divine dragon rolled sideways and flew towards the dense forest at the side. In his haste, he didn't know where he was going. In any case, he couldn't let Jiang Cheng stop him completely. Otherwise, it would be even more difficult to talk to him. When he heard Kong Shinmu's words, Jiang Cheng was instantly enraged. This brat before him was truly disgusting. You don't know how to appreciate favors. Jiang Cheng's face hardened and his voice turned cold. Since that's the case, I'll let you know what fear is. As soon as he finished speaking, the thunder-slaying true dragon that Jiang Cheng had transformed into chased after Kong Shinmu at an extremely fast speed. The power of the purple thunderbolt arrived with a loud bang, and a purple thunderbolt beam as thick as the mouth of a bowl swept directly towards the place where the black dragon was. Jiang Cheng had really made a move against Kong Shinmu. If this scene was seen by the elders of the Jiang clan, not only would Jiang Cheng be disqualified from the demon-slaying experience, he would also be severely punished. Of course, he wouldn't die. After all, Jiang Cheng was a genius among the younger generation of the Jiang clan. He couldn't be allowed to die like that. But Kong Shinmu was different. Even if Kong Shinmu were to die in Jiang Cheng's hands, Jiang Cheng wouldn't have to pay with his life. This was the difference in talent. Kong Shinmu had only inherited the blood essence of a mortal dragon, and it was only an 80-foot mortal dragon. Even if he assisted Jiang Zizai's son, his future achievements would be extremely limited. But Jiang Cheng was different. He had inherited the blood essence of a true dragon. With the thunder-slaying true dragon, he could become a mainstay of the Jiang clan in the future. Comparing the lives of the two, it was clear that Jiang Cheng's life was more valuable. Kong Shinmu gritted his teeth. When he felt Jiang Cheng's thunder-slaying true dragon attack him with lightning, he knew that this battle was inevitable. Even if he crushed the explosion scroll, it would be difficult for him to hold on until the Jiang clan's rescue team arrived. It was even possible that the opponent's first lightning attack could seriously injure him. Besides counterattacking, Kong Shinmu could not think of any other way. Although the odds of success were slim, there was still a chance of survival. What's more, deep in Kong Shinmu's heart, there was a crazy idea. Now that Jiang Cheng had taken the initiative to attack him, wasn't this a rare opportunity to devour it? If he devoured the thunder-slaying true dragon, what would happen to Kong Shinmu's black dragon's blood essence? What level would it rise from a mortal dragon's 100 feet to? Kong Shinmu had already experienced the devouring power contained in the black dragon's blood essence. As long as he devoured a divine dragon, he could increase the size of the black dragon, as well as the grade of the blood essence. Kong Shinmu did not know how many divine dragons he needed to devour from a mortal dragon to a true dragon. But since there was such an opportunity, he would not let it go. Even if you are a true dragon and I am a mortal dragon, now that we are both at the first tier of the Dragon Ascension realm, I might not be your match. Kong Shinmu thought to himself. The eyes of the black dragon were filled with endless fighting spirit. He turned around and faced the purple lightning attack released by the thunder-slaying true dragon. The speed of the lightning attack was so fast that it was impossible for Kong Shinmu to dodge it. But Jiang Cheng did not expect that the kid would turn around and take the initiative to face it. This situation surprised Jiang Cheng. He grinned and said, "What? Now you want to beg for mercy? Unfortunately, it's too late. It's absolutely impossible for your fragile body to withstand this lightning attack." Kong Shinmu clenched his teeth and did not reply, because there was no time for him to speak. The purple lightning struck his black dragon body in the blink of an eye, and the terrifying destructive power of the lightning spread through his entire body in an instant. The power of lightning was the most violent. In just an instant, the injuries Zhang Shenwu had suffered had already surpassed the injuries he had suffered during the battle with the flower tiger berserk. His entire body had even been completely paralyzed, and even the slightest movement had become extremely strenuous. The black dragon body was seriously damaged. If this continued, Kong Shinmu was very clear that as long as the other side launched another lightning attack, he would undoubtedly die. There's no other way, I can only devour? Kong Shinmu clenched his teeth. The Earth Demon's demon core that he had just dug out from the flower tiger's body was completely wrapped up by his devouring power, and then devoured. Now he had no way to touch the thunder-slaying true dragon. If he wanted to heal his injuries and restore his ability to move, he could only devour the Earth Demon's demon core. Although the Earth Demon's demon core was very precious, it was insignificant compared to Kong Shinmu's life. Chapter 3796. Jiang Cheng returned to his human form when he saw the miserable state of the black dragon that Kong Shinmu had transformed into. The imposing aura of the thunder-slaying true dragon dissipated from the dense forest. If you knew this would happen, why did you do it in the first place? I'll be taking the Earth Demon's demon core. As for you, since you're seeking death, I won't stop you. The burly Jiang Cheng smiled savagely as he strode toward the black dragon that Kong Shinmu had transformed into. A purple thunderbolt gradually gathered in his hands. Although this thunderbolt was not as powerful as his dragon form, it was definitely not weak. At least, it was more than enough to deal with the current Kong Shinmu. Jiang Cheng could sense that Kong Shinmu had completely lost the ability to fight. That was why he was so bold as to directly cancel his dragon form and approach the black dragon that Kong Shinmu had transformed into in his human form. After all, maintaining his dragon form was somewhat taxing on his body. In addition, he did not want the battle to be known by others, so he tried his best to restrain himself. This gave Kong Shinmu a chance to counterattack. Contrary to what Jiang Cheng had imagined, the current Kong Shinmu had not completely lost the ability to fight. He was only devouring the demon core of the violent flower tiger and using it to recover his own strength. Contrary to Kong Shinmu's expectations, the effects of devouring the violent flower tiger's demon core were very good. The recovery of strength and healing effects were very obvious. After all, this was the source of strength of a demonic beast of the earth demon level. It contained an extremely rich power of the earth. After being devoured by Kong Shinmu's devouring power, all the injuries on his body rapidly recovered. When Jiang Cheng arrived in front of the black dragon that Kong Shinmu had transformed into, his injuries were already mostly healed. Moreover, he had only devoured about a third of the violent flower tiger's demon core's power. This was the best time for Kong Shinmu to counterattack when Jiang Cheng was caught off guard. Without any hesitation, Kong Shinmu decided to attack. Since the other party had already made a move, Kong Shinmu had nothing to worry about. Either you die, or I die. Just as the purple thunderbolt in Jiang Cheng's hand was about to strike the black dragon that Kong Shinmu had transformed into, the black dragon that had been paralyzed on the ground suddenly soared into the air. In that instant, Jiang Cheng's vision was completely occupied by the black dragon's body. The dragon's claws swooped down and directly gripped Jiang Cheng's body tightly. At this moment, the purple thunderbolt in Jiang Cheng's hand was subconsciously activated. The purple thunderbolt exploded and enveloped the entire body of the black dragon. Kong Shinmu took the attack head-on, and his devouring power continued to devour the flower tiger's demon core, using it to recover his strength and heal his wounds. At the same time, his dragon claws gripped Jiang Cheng tightly, making Jiang Cheng look like a field mouse that had been caught by an eagle. In human form, the difference between his size and that of a divine dragon was too great. At this moment, the devouring power in Kang Shinmu's body surged out continuously from the dragon claws and enveloped Jiang Cheng's entire body. With just the strength of the black dragon's body, it was impossible for him to kill Jiang Cheng. After all, Jiang Cheng could also transform into a dragon. What Kang Shinmu could do now was to use his devouring power to corrode Jiang Cheng's body. That way, the overall situation would develop in his favor. The pitch-black light of the devouring power emerged from the dense forest and enveloped Jiang Cheng's entire body. In the next moment, the aura of the thunder-slaying true dragon erupted once again. Indeed, when Jiang Cheng encountered such a situation, he still transformed into a dragon without hesitation. This was because if he did not transform into a dragon, he would definitely not be a match for Kang Shinmu. To be honest, I really didn't expect you to be able to counterattack. You did a good job pretending to be dead just now, but it's useless now. Jiang Cheng laughed sinisterly. The thunder-slaying true dragon's 300-foot-long body was surrounded by purple lightning and instantly broke through the restraints of Kang Shinmu's dragon claws. After all, the thunder-slaying true dragon was much larger than the black dragon that Kang Shinmu had transformed into. Once Jiang Cheng transformed into a dragon, Kang Shinmu would immediately be at a disadvantage. However, Kang Shinmu seized this opportunity and gripped the thunder-slaying true dragon's body tightly with his dragon claws. A pair of sharp dragon claws pierced directly into the side of the thunder-slaying true dragon's body. He had already predicted that after Jiang Cheng was counterattacked, he would definitely transform into a dragon again. The moment he transformed into a dragon again would be the moment that Kang Shinmu had a chance of winning. Jiang Cheng must have thought that Kang Shinmu could not withstand a single blow and could be easily dealt with by transforming into a dragon. However, he would never have imagined that the innate ability of Kang Shinmu's divine dragon inheritance blood essence was actually the overbearing and mysterious devouring power. Kang Shinmu gripped the side of his opponent's body tightly with his dragon claws. He was determined not to let go no matter what. The devouring power continued to corrode the thunder-slaying true dragon's body through his dragon claws. Jiang Cheng's purple lightning bombarded the black dragon's body once again. However, this time, it did not cause as much damage as the previous time. After all, Jiang Cheng had prepared this attack in a hurry and could not exert his full strength. On the other hand, Kang Shinmu began to devour the power in the thunder-slaying true dragon's body and began to develop a certain resistance to the power of thunder. This resistance was not high, but it was enough to save Kang Shinmu's life at the critical moment. For Kang Shinmu, being able to save his life was equivalent to having the foundation to win. Everything was based on staying alive. As long as Kang Shinmu was still alive, he could turn defeat into victory. For me? Devour. Kang Shinmu roared angrily. It was obvious that he was extremely angry at his opponent's attack. No matter what, he was not a pushover. Since his opponent wanted to bully him, Kang Shinmu, he would let him know the consequences of bullying him. The devouring power surged out violently from Jiang Shinwu's body like a tornado, engulfing the entire thunder-slaying true dragon within it. The essence of the thunder-slaying true dragon's blood and flesh was absorbed by Kang Shinmu's body and turned into his own. At the same time, Kang Shinmu continued to devour the demon core of the violent flower tiger. It was the existence of this demon core that allowed him to hold on for so long. You're courting death. Jiang Cheng had never imagined that Jiang Shinwu would be able to launch such a counterattack. Moreover, it was such a strong counterattack that even Jiang Cheng felt a little threatened. However, Jiang Cheng was not worried that Kang Shinmu could kill him. After all, he had almost defeated Kang Shinmu with just one move. Although Kang Shinmu was recovering from his injuries, it was of no use. In Jiang Cheng's opinion, he was a genius who had inherited the blood essence of a true dragon. How could he lose to Kang Shinmu, who had inherited the blood essence of a mortal dragon? If you dare to fight back, I'll kill you. Chapter 3797. The purple thunderbolt struck the black dragon that Kang Shinmu had transformed into at close range. The terrifying power instantly invaded the black dragon's body. However, Jiang Cheng was still rational at this moment. He knew that he had to control the power of the attack and not make too much noise. Otherwise, it would attract the attention of others nearby and they would discover that he was fighting against Kang Shinmu. That would be bad. Although he could attack Kong Shinmu at will, that was under the premise that he thought he could kill Kong Shinmu instantly. Even if Kong Shinmu launched a counterattack now, he still did not dare to use his full strength. This gave Kong Shinmu a chance to continue his counterattack. The purple lightning arrived and landed on the black dragon that he had transformed into, charring his entire body once again. However, this time, Jiang Shenwu's injuries were not as severe as the previous time. The destructive power of the purple thunderbolt was the same. However, Kong Shinmu's body was already resistant to the power of thunder and lightning, and this resistance was increasing as time passed. Devour, devour. The devouring power in Kong Shinmu's body surged out continuously. Part of it was absorbing the violent flower tiger's monster core, while the other part was absorbing the flesh and blood essence of the thunder-slaying true dragon. He devoured the power of the earth demon's monster core, which allowed him to recover rapidly. The flesh and blood essence of the thunder-slaying true dragon contained the power of purple thunderbolt, which allowed him to increase his resistance to thunder and lightning. This time, Kong Shinmu withstood the attack once again. Not dead yet. Jiang Cheng did not expect Kong Shinmu's vitality to be so tenacious. He could feel that the black dragon was still devouring his flesh and blood essence, which made him even angrier. Trash, I'd like to see how long you can hold on. Jiang Cheng was really angry. Most importantly, he knew that he could not delay any longer. He had to kill Kong Shinmu as soon as possible. Otherwise, there might be some accidents along the way. The next moment, lightning exploded. The light of purple lightning shone brightly in the Heaven Drive forest. The lightning scattered in all directions, burning the surrounding trees and plants to ashes. Countless flames sprang up, seemingly about to spread in all directions. Although he hadn't used his full strength, Jiang Cheng had already used more than 70% of his power. The power of thunder rumbled, reaching at least tens of kilometers away. With this move, Jiang Cheng was determined to kill Kong Shinmu. The black dragon that Kong Shinmu had transformed into was constantly devouring the flesh, blood, and life essence of the thunder-slaying true dragon. At this moment, when he suddenly encountered such a powerful attack, his vision darkened, and he almost lost consciousness. So powerful. This was the only thing that echoed in Jiang Shenwu's mind. He felt as if there was an endless amount of lightning energy drilling into his body at this moment, causing endless destruction to his black dragon body. There was not a single part of his body that was unscathed. Every part of his body had suffered terrifying damage. Even his internal organs, heart, blood vessels, and so on had suffered irreparable damage. The devouring power in the black dragon's body had also gradually weakened. This time, Kong Shinmu had truly suffered a fatal blow. Whether he could survive was a problem, let alone kill Jiang Cheng. Even if Jiang Cheng left just like that, the chances of him surviving were extremely slim. The difference between a mortal dragon and a true dragon was too great. Otherwise, when Kong Shinmu had obtained the inheritance blood essence of a mortal dragon, he wouldn't have been looked down upon by others. In fact, an ordinary mortal dragon was no match for a true dragon. Even if Kong Shinmu had obtained the inheritance of the black dragon and possessed the mysterious devouring power, there was no way to surpass the gap between a mortal dragon and a true dragon. Right now, the gap between a mortal dragon and a true dragon was still the smallest. In the future, when his cultivation base became stronger and he cultivated the dragon martial technique, the gap would only widen. Kong Shinmu was very clear about this, but he really didn't want to believe that he would continue to sink like this. Therefore, when he discovered that the black dragon's natural talent was the mysterious devouring power, he was extremely delighted. However, the devouring power could only grow by devouring dragon martial artists. He didn't have many opportunities to improve the size and grade of the black dragon. Now that he had encountered Jiang Cheng, he wanted to give it a try. However, he didn't expect the gap between them to be so huge that it couldn't be bridged. The devouring power couldn't allow Kong Shinmu to continue persevering. He could only maintain the devouring power to devour the remaining power of the berserk flower tiger's demon core. He couldn't even guarantee his survival, not to mention that Jiang Cheng was eyeing him covetously. For the current Jiang Cheng, there was no way he would let Kong Shinmu go. After this fatal blow, Kong Shinmu completely lost the ability to resist and was at the mercy of others. Hee, I thought you could hold on for a long time. That's all there is to it. Jiang Cheng finally heaved a sigh of relief when he sensed that Kong Shinmu's life force had fallen to rock bottom. He chuckled and returned to his human form. The purple lightning lit up the nearby forest, making Jiang Cheng's expression look even more ferocious and terrifying under the contrast of the flames. This fellow already had a ferocious look to begin with. Coupled with the current situation, it was even more terrifying. Kong Xinmu naturally couldn't say anything. He was struggling for his life now, so he naturally couldn't care less about what Jiang Cheng said. It wasn't that he didn't want to care, but he couldn't even if he wanted to. His entire body had been smashed by the purple lightning and was riddled with holes. The black dragon's body was completely charred, and even the devouring power in his body was so weak that it was almost undetectable. Even if Kong Xinmu wanted to hold on to his opponent and devour his flesh and life essence, it was impossible for him to do so. Am I going to die just like this? Kong Xinmu's heart was filled with unwillingness, but there was nothing he could do now. He didn't expect to be on the brink of death twice in such a short period of time. The first time was when he was saved by a strange girl from a monster. What about the second time? Kong Xinmu didn't deliberately think that someone would appear and save him at the critical moment. However, apart from someone appearing and saving him, there was no other way for him to survive. Stop! At this moment, a crisp and furious female voice suddenly sounded from the side. Immediately after, a familiar aura entered the scene. Zhang Yuaning. Chapter 3798. Zhang Yuaning did not expect to see such a scene when she returned to look for Kong Xinmu after killing the Earth Demon Flower Tiger and obtaining its demon core. Jiang Cheng, the only person in the South Mansion who had obtained the inheritance of the True Dragon, was attacking Kong Xinmu and trying to snatch the Earth Demon core from him. Seeing that the black dragon that Jiang Shenwu had transformed into was charred black and had almost lost all signs of life, the anger in Zhang Yuaning's heart rose to the point of almost exploding. Who would kill one of their own? There was no turning back in the current situation. Zhang Yuaning did not think about anything else when she saw the scene unfold before her. She turned into a dragon and charged at Jiang Cheng. The power of the moon condensed into a saber light and pierced through the sky. There was nothing much to say between her and Jiang Cheng. They did not know each other and now they were enemies. If she did not take action to hold Jiang Cheng back, Jiang Cheng could easily kill Jiang Shenwu. This was not a situation that Zhang Yuaning wanted to see. At the very least, she had to stop Jiang Cheng and let Kong Xinmu try to survive with his mysterious devouring power. After all, Zhang Yuaning had fought with Kong Xinmu for a period of time. She knew what kind of ability Kong Xinmu had. This was Kong Xinmu, who could turn the situation around when he was on the verge of death. It could be said that as long as Kong Xinmu was still breathing, there was a chance that he could survive. This was how Zhang Yuaning viewed Kong Xinmu. Therefore, she had to stop Jiang Cheng. At this moment, Jiang Cheng did not expect Zhang Yuaning to attack him. However, since Zhang Yuaning had made a move, he would not stand there and be beaten for nothing. Since you've seen it, you can go to hell with this kid. Jiang Cheng's expression turned extremely gloomy. A ruthless and bloodthirsty look appeared in his eyes. It was obvious that he did not want to explain anything to Zhang Yuaning. The only thing he wanted to do was to kill Zhang Yuaning as well. This time, the Southern Manor had actually come to an agreement with the other manors. No matter what, they would have to compete with the people from the Grand Prince Manor if they saw them, so that the people from the Grand Prince Manor would be the last. Now, if Jiang Cheng were to kill Zhang Yuaning and Kong Xinmu at the same time and snatch the Earth Demon's demon core from them, how good would the results of the Grand Prince's mansion be? The huge body of the thunder-slaying True Dragon once again appeared in the dense forest. Its 300-meter-long body charged directly at the Moonlight Star Dragon. Both of them had inherited the True Dragon's blood essence, so their current strength should be about the same. However, the destructive power of the thunder-slaying True Dragon's purple thunderbolt was clearly stronger than the power of the moon. Zhang Yuaning's only advantage was to take advantage of the fact that Jiang Cheng had just consumed some of his strength to deal with Kong Xinmu. In addition, Zhang Yuaning attacked as soon as she appeared, so she had the upper hand. The power of the moon condensed into countless saber beams. Like a downpour, they rained down on the thunder-slaying True Dragon. The thunder-slaying True Dragon used its body to withstand the wave of moonlight saber beams, and then released 3 purple thunderbolts at the Moonlight Star Dragon. Jiang Cheng had used almost all his strength to deal with Zhang Yuaning. It didn't matter even if he was discovered. Anyway, even if it was brought to the Jiang clan, there would be people on Jiang Cheng's side. It was still uncertain who the higher-ups would deal with. Die, Thunder Slash! The 3 purple thunderbolts broke through the air towards the Moonlight Star Dragon. The sky full of moonlight saber beams also fell on the thunder-slaying true dragon's body, cutting open a lot of the dragon's flesh. However, under the cover of the dazzling purple thunderbolts, the thunder-slaying true dragon's injuries were almost invisible. The battle between the 2 experts, who had inherited the blood essence of a true dragon, filled the entire jungle with violent power, almost razing the entire scene to the ground. At this moment, Kong Shinmu was fully focused on devouring the Earth Demon's demon core of the violent flower tiger. When he heard Jiang Yuaning's familiar voice, he clearly knew that he had obtained a certain amount of time to catch his breath. However, there was still a slim chance that he could survive. This was because his internal organs had suffered too much damage. After being bombarded by the purple thunderbolts, they were all charred black, almost losing their vitality. Fortunately, at the critical moment, his firm willpower allowed him to maintain a trace of consciousness, preventing him from fainting. Under such circumstances, once he fainted, he would have no chance of waking up again. The devouring power continued to devour the power of the Earth Demon's demon core. Kong Shinmu absorbed this power and continuously used it to heal the internal organs of the Black Dragon. However, the effect was minimal. After all, the internal organs had almost been completely destroyed. How could it be that easy to recover? Fortunately, the violent flower tiger's demon core contained a lot of power of the earth. Until now, there was still half of the power left, so Kong Shinmu still had a chance to recover. During the gradual devouring process, although Kong Shinmu did not feel any improvement in his bloodline, the devouring power contained in his body seemed to be slowly improving. While he was seriously injured, Kong Shinmu continued to devour the power of the earth. It seemed to bring about some other special effects that made the devouring power even more powerful, and its power was slowly increasing. I wonder if the increase in the power of the devouring power is temporary or permanent. If it's permanent, then I can devour enough demon cores to strengthen the devouring power? Kong Shinmu thought to himself. Then, he carefully sensed and was disappointed to find that the increase in the power of the devouring power was indeed temporary. It was the same as when he devoured the flesh, blood, and life essence of other dragon martial artists. He could temporarily increase the power of the corresponding resistance. Devouring the power of the earth from the Earth Demon's demon core could strengthen the devouring power. Although it was not obvious now, if he devoured the demon core of a stronger Earth Demon, it might strengthen the devouring power by a lot. Now, Kong Shinmu could only struggle on the line between life and death. He could not even see the battle between Jiang Yuaning and Jiang Cheng. He could only listen to the violent sounds of the battle, which was hair-raising. Afraid of accidentally injuring Kong Shinmu, Jiang Yuaning deliberately led Jiang Cheng to the side after the battle began. The power of the moonlight and the power of the thunder continued to fight, raising all the giant trees and plants along the way to the ground. Gray smoke settled, and scorched earth was everywhere. After a short confrontation, both the Moonlight Star Dragon and the Thunder-Slaying True Dragon had some wounds on their bodies. On the surface, the Thunder-Slaying True Dragon seemed to be more seriously injured. Warm blood was flowing all over its body, sprinkling on the scorched earth. It looked very miserable. Chapter 3799. The battle between the Moonlight Star Dragon and the Thunder-Slaying True Dragon wasn't going well either. Jiang Yuaning's strength was not inferior to Jiang Cheng's, but there were some differences in the nature of their talents. At this stage, the Thunder-Slaying True Dragon had a greater advantage. The two sides fought for a long time, and the surrounding jungle was completely destroyed. The moonlight saber light scattered in all directions, cutting countless giant trees into pieces. Purple lightning wreaked havoc in all directions, turning the ground into scorched earth. The entire forest was in a mess. However, the Heavendry forest was just too big, and its range was extremely vast. Even though the battle here was so intense, it didn't attract anyone else. No one would have thought that Jiang Yuaning and Jiang Cheng were fighting here. Jiang Cheng, you've acted so recklessly today. If the seniors in the tribe find out, what punishment will you receive? Jiang Yuaning shouted as she fought. Jiang Yuaning, if I kill you today, who will know that I'm the one who killed you? Jiang Cheng laughed heartily. There's no one else nearby. No one will come here for at least a quarter of an hour. You want to kill me in 15 minutes? What a joke. Jiang Yuaning's pretty face darkened. She did not expect Jiang Cheng to be so crazy. Not only did he injure Kong Shinmu, but he also wanted to snatch the Earth Demon's demon core. He even wanted to kill her. Although Jiang Yuaning did not look down on Kong Xinmu, she knew that in the eyes of the elders of the Jiang clan, the status of the inheritor of the true dragon blood essence was much higher than that of the ordinary dragon blood essence. Just like the disappearance of Jiang Xinyu and Jiang Luo, if it were two true dragon inheritors, the Jiang clan would have long mobilized the entire clan to search for them, instead of just sending a small team to search for them. Therefore, killing Kong Xinmu and killing Jiang Yuaning were two completely different concepts. Even if Jiang Yuaning was killed, it would take a long time to dispose of the corpse. Otherwise, the Jiang clan would definitely be able to find clues and find Jiang Cheng. Furthermore, Jiang Yuaning was not a weakling. How could she be killed by Jiang Cheng just like that? Madman die! Jiang Yuaning knew that it was useless to persuade Jiang Cheng, who seemed to have gone mad. The only thing she could do was to subdue him with force. The two 300-meter-long true dragons clashed once again. At this moment, there was a hint of viciousness in the eyes of the thunder-slaying true dragon that Jiang Cheng had transformed into. It was likely that he was about to carry out some sinister scheme? At this time, Kong Xinmu was still struggling on the line between life and death. However, as the devouring power strengthened, his condition gradually improved. The demon core of the violent flower tiger had helped him a lot. After the whole demon core was swallowed by the devouring power, Kong Xinmu felt that his whole body had recovered a little strength. The internal organs of the black dragon's body were mostly healed. At least his whole body could function normally. As for a more perfect recovery, Kong Xinmu could not do it now because there was no more power for him to devour. Absorbing the Earth Phase Monster Core was not a long-term solution. Not only did he need to submit the Earth Phase Monster Core to the Jiang clan as a point for the demon-slaying experience, but if he were to consume another Earth Phase Monster Core in such a short period of time, the effects would be greatly reduced. He maintained his 10-meter-long black mortal dragon form and gradually rose from the ground. The black dragon's body staggered and flew unsteadily, but he still flew firmly in the direction of the battle between Jiang Yuaning and Jiang Cheng. He was somewhat worried about Jiang Yuaning's safety. Since he had recovered his mobility, and his devouring power was temporarily stronger than before, he wanted to go forward and help. Soon, he arrived near the scene of the fierce battle between Jiang Yuaning and Jiang Cheng. He heard their conversation from afar. "How is it? That's it?" It was Jiang Yuaning's voice. There was a hint of disdain in her voice. Although she was panting, he could tell that Jiang Yuaning still had a considerable amount of combat power. "Heh? Heh? So you've won this time?" On the contrary, Jiang Cheng's voice was trembling and weak. He seemed to be panting. Hearing this, Kong Xinmu's heart skipped a beat. Could it be that the outcome had been decided? He returned to his human form and quietly walked forward. As expected, he saw that Jiang Cheng had also returned to his human form. His entire body was heavily injured by the moonlight sword light. He had fallen to the ground and seemed to be struggling. Jiang Yuaning, on the other hand, slowly walked toward Jiang Cheng with a slender figure. Her face was still filled with anger. "I won't kill you today. When we return, the tribe will naturally punish you. Killing a member of the same tribe, the punishment for this crime will not be light." As Jiang Yuaning walked forward, she wanted to completely subdue Jiang Cheng, tie him up and hand him over to the clan. However, at this moment, something strange happened. "Watch out!" Kong Xinmu saw everything clearly. He saw that Jiang Cheng had one hand hidden behind his back. He was gathering the power of the purple thunderbolt. Judging from the power, there was no sign of him being injured at all. Jiang Cheng was obviously pretending to be injured to trick Jiang Yuaning into letting her guard down so that he could capture her in one fell swoop. However, Kong Xinmu's shout came a step too late. Jiang Yuaning had just heard his shout and sensed that something was wrong. She wanted to dodge, but it was too late. "Go to hell!" Jiang Cheng's face suddenly became extremely ferocious. His body suddenly jumped up, and the purple thunder shock wave in his hand instantly exploded and landed on Jiang Yuaning's delicate body. Despicable! Jiang Yuaning clenched her teeth. At the crucial moment, she turned her body sideways. The purple thunderbolt landed on the side of her waist and she was electrocuted. She fell heavily on the scorched ground of the dense forest. Although she avoided being hit in the vital parts at the crucial moment and avoided death, she was seriously injured and lost the ability to fight for a while. It was also at this time that Jiang Xinwu flew over from behind, once again transforming into the body of a black dragon. As soon as he opened his mouth, A pair of dragon teeth imbued with devouring power pierced directly into Jiang Cheng's body. Jiang Cheng had no time to react. His body was pierced by the black dragon's dragon teeth. After all, it was the body of a black dragon against a human body. In addition, Jiang Cheng had indeed been hit by a lot of moonlight during the battle with Jiang Yuaning. His injuries were not light. The devouring power quickly surged into Jiang Cheng's body and began to devour the essence of his flesh and blood. "You're courting death." Jiang Cheng roared and transformed into the thunder-slaying true dragon again. Unfortunately, the black dragon's dragon teeth were still pierced into his body and the devouring power continued to surge into his body. Today was Children's Day. In order to thank all the babies for supporting Sky swallowing Memory and Frenzy used his own money to give everyone a small benefit by answering questions on WeChat. The details were as follows. 1. Follow Frenzy's WeChat. Feng Qingyang. Search for Feng Qingyang on WeChat or So Fengqingyang. 2. Tonight at 10:00 sharp, Frenzy will send a message with 5 questions. 3. The 5 questions are 5 200 yuan red packets. Open Alipay and find the red packet option on the home page. The answer to the question is the password for the red packet. Enter the answer to receive the red packet. The red packet is for those who are reading the book seriously. The questions are difficult. Attention! The passwords for the 5 red envelopes were the answers to the 5 questions. After everyone had guessed the answers, they could enter the answer in the Alipay red envelope. Remember, because the password had a word count requirement, when entering the password, you must add the word "answer is" before it. The question was about the new Sky swallowing memory. For example, who is the main character? Enter. Answer is Wu Yu. Right. Wu Yu. Then the answer is invalid. This is very important. Everyone must remember to write "answer is" before the answer. Otherwise, even if the answer is correct, you will not be able to receive the red packet. Another example. Where is the main character now? Enter the password. Answer is the heaven-devouring evil residence. Enter only the heaven-devouring evil residence. Remember, remember. Chapter 3800. After devouring the entire Flower Tiger's demon core, Kong Shinmu's devouring power had increased a lot. At this moment, after devouring some of the thunder-slaying true dragon's flesh and life essence, his body quickly developed a layer of resistance to the power of thunder. This layer of resistance gradually covered Kong Shinmu's black dragon body, forming a faint layer of thunder armor. This situation made Kong Shinmu overjoyed. Although this faint layer of thunder armor was temporarily very weak and could barely withstand Jiang Cheng's thunder attack, this was the first time he had seen such a situation. If he continued to devour Jiang Cheng's flesh and life essence, this layer of thunder armor would definitely become stronger until the black dragon body that Kong Shinmu had transformed into could completely withstand the opponent's thunder attack. At this moment, Jiang Cheng's purple thunder attack swept over, like a purple storm, and rolled onto the black dragon's body. Once again, Jiang Shinwu felt a numbing sensation throughout his body. The incomparably tyrannical purple lightning caused his entire body to tremble. However, he clenched his teeth and continued to unleash his devouring power. He did not relax in the slightest. Blood, flesh and life essence were ceaselessly absorbed into Jiang Shinwu's body, and then transformed into his own energy and lightning armor. In next to no time, that layer of lightning armor condensed once more, and it was even thicker and stronger than before. The wound on the thunder-slaying true dragon's body is really useful. Kong Shinmu could not help but sigh. It was precisely because of the wound on the thunder-slaying true dragon's body created by Jiang Yuaning's moonlight that he could devour the opponent's flesh and life essence so smoothly. When the opponent was wounded, the effect of Kong Shinmu's devouring power increased by at least 2 or 3 times. It was also because of this that Kong Shinmu could clench his teeth and withstand the purple thunder attack this time. He did not suffer too much damage and recovered quickly. If Jiang Qing only had this little ability, it could be said that after being injured by Jiang Yuaning's moonlight, he would have no chance of winning against Kong Shinmu again. Devour. Kong Shinmu finally found the feeling of smoothly devouring. The enhancement of his devouring power and the scars on the thunder-slaying true dragon's body had become an important prerequisite for him to win this battle. On the other hand, Jiang Cheng was in a terrible state. In the previous battle with Jiang Yuaning, he had suffered many external injuries and blood was still flowing out of his wounds. Now it was convenient for Kong Shinmu's devouring power to continuously devour the flesh and blood, gathering it into his own power. As the Thunder Slayer True Dragon lost its life essence, the lightning power it could release would also weaken. "Trash, die for me!" Jiang Cheng roared, and the purple lightning around his body flashed again. This time, it was much stronger than the previous attack. If it had been the Jiang Cheng at the beginning, he would have lost his life directly without any chance to fight back. Unfortunately, Jiang Cheng had now formed a layer of lightning armor. This layer of lightning armor was formed by absorbing the lightning power in Jiang Cheng's body. At the same time, the Black Dragon's resistance to the purple lightning had also increased to a very high level. When the opponent's purple lightning flashed and the terrifying power landed on the Black Dragon's body, the layer of lightning armor was shattered in the blink of an eye. However, the layer of lightning armor had also weakened the power of the opponent's attack by nearly half. In this way, the Black Dragon body that Kong Shinmu had transformed into could withstand the opponent's attack. In fact, he was even less injured than the previous time and was almost not affected at all. Jiang Yuaning stood up with difficulty in the distance. She held onto a huge tree that had been charred by the lightning, and looked at the place where the two dragons were fighting from afar. She was seriously injured by Jiang Cheng just now and could not even see the current situation of the battle clearly. Kong Shinmu? Jiang Yuaning could not help but worry as she watched the 300 feet long purple thunderbolt dragon constantly suppressing the 100 feet long black dragon. As she felt the lightning energy continuously wreaking havoc in the arena, she became even more worried for Jiang Shinwu. However, after being caught off guard by Jiang Cheng, she had already completely lost the ability to fight. Even standing up took all the strength in her body. In Jiang Yuaning's opinion, how could Kong Shinmu be a match for Jiang Cheng? She struggled to step forward to help, but right now, she could not even transform into a dragon. All the strength in her body had been drained, and her body had been severely injured by the purple lightning. She had only taken one step forward when she staggered and almost fell. Of course, she did not expect that in the battle between Kong Shinmu and Jiang Cheng, Kong Shinmu actually had a slight advantage, and this advantage was constantly expanding. What? Jiang Cheng did not expect that his all-out attack could not kill Kong Shinmu. Although his strength was not at its peak as he was injured during the battle with Jiang Yuaning, Kong Shinmu was clearly an ordinary dragon. How could an ordinary dragon withstand his all-out attack? Jiang Cheng did not know if it was an illusion, but he felt that the body of the black dragon that was biting him was gradually growing. This made Jiang Cheng feel even more uncanny. In fact, Jiang Cheng's feeling was not an illusion. The body of the black dragon that Kong Shinmu had transformed into was indeed growing while devouring the flesh and life essence of his opponent. It was just like when he devoured the two ordinary dragons, Jiang Xinyu and Jiang Luo. However, the dragon that Kong Shinmu had devoured now was Jiang Cheng, a real dragon. The inherited blood essence of a real dragon was a great supplement to Kong Shinmu. Almost every moment, Kong Shinmu could feel his body expanding and stretching. His entire body of a divine dragon was clearly growing. In just a moment, the original 30 feet ordinary dragon had grown to nearly 30 feet. This speed made Kong Shinmu more and more excited. Jiang Cheng, you asked for it. You gave me such a great opportunity to improve. Without any hesitation, Kong Shinmu continued to exert his devouring power. His dragon teeth pierced deep into the body of the thunder dragon that Jiang Cheng had transformed into and devoured the flesh and life essence of his opponent. The thunder armor that was devoured formed again on the surface of the black dragon. 1 layer, 2 layers, 3 layers? Jiang Cheng kept bursting out purple lightning, trying to kill Kong Shinmu. However, the thunder armor on the black dragon's body was constantly being destroyed and reformed. In addition, the black dragon's resistance to the purple lightning power had increased too much. The current Jiang Cheng was simply no match for Jiang Shinwu. Furthermore, as the Thunder Slayer True Dragon was constantly being devoured, its own purple thunderbolt power was also constantly being weakened. One's loss, one's gain, one's loss. This was Kong Shinmu's way of winning. As long as he could not be killed immediately, he would be able to obtain the final victory. In order to better communicate with the readers, Frenzy decided to open up his private QQ. He allowed anyone to add it. However, because Frenzied spent most of his time writing, he might not be able to reply to everyone's private chat questions. If you have time, please pay attention to Frenzied's usual posts or contact him if there is something important. If there is no reply, please do not be offended. Chapter 3801. Jiang Cheng and Kong Shinmu transformed into their respective divine dragon forms, biting each other. Purple lightning constantly exploded, but unfortunately, it was no longer able to harm Kong Shinmu. The black dragon's body constantly formed lightning armor, which was then destroyed by the purple lightning. Gradually, the lightning armor became more and more impregnable. No matter how Jiang Cheng urged the purple lightning, he was unable to break the lightning armor. As Kong Shinmu continued to devour the flesh, blood, and life essence of the thunder-slaying true dragon, the lightning armor he could condense became stronger and stronger. At the same time, his black dragon body's resistance to the purple lightning also became stronger. Until now, Jiang Cheng was no longer Kong Shinmu's match. The aura of the thunder-slaying true dragon grew weaker and weaker, while the black dragon that Jiang Shenwu had transformed into became more and more valiant as the battle progressed. Even its body continued to grow, growing from its initial length of 10 feet to its current length of 13 feet. Jiang Cheng clearly felt that something was amiss. He wanted to fly up and escape, but unfortunately, the thunder-slaying true dragon's strength had been almost completely devoured. Furthermore, the black dragon was tightly biting his body, not giving the thunder-slaying true dragon any chance to escape. Kong Shinmu, Kong Shinmu. Jiang Cheng clenched his teeth and roared. Do you really want to kill me? Once you do such a thing, the Jiang clan will definitely not tolerate you. These words were of no threat to Kong Shinmu. As you said, if I kill you and devour you, who will know that I did it? In the end, they will all think that you were killed by the earth demon. As Kong Shinmu spoke fiercely, the devouring power surged out even more fiercely. The current him was in a very good state. It was the complete opposite of the other dragon warriors. Most people would become weaker the more they fought, but he became stronger and braver. As the devouring power devoured his opponent's flesh, blood, and essence, his condition became better and better. When Jiang Cheng first made his move, he didn't expect things to turn out like this. Kong Shinmu and Jiang Yuaning took turns to fight against him. He was confident that he would win, but he did not expect Kong Shinmu's devouring power to be so powerful. Not only could it devour his Thunderslayer true dragon, but it could also strengthen the black dragon itself and increase its resistance to the purple lightning. In his panic, Jiang Cheng could feel that the black dragon coiling around his body had grown a little larger. However, he was dizzy and he wasn't sure if it was just his imagination. He only knew that if this went on, he might really die here. He had just obtained the true dragon's blood essence, just become a dragon warrior, just stepped into the dragon ascension realm. How could Jiang Cheng be willing to die like this? The struggle before death was often the most terrifying. Jiang Shenwu sensed that at this moment, the body of the thunder-slaying true dragon that he was biting down on seemed to have gone berserk. A terrifying force actually carried the body of the black dragon and slowly flew up into the sky. The thunder-slaying true dragon began to rise into the sky with difficulty. This situation made Kong Shinmu realize that the other party was going to fight with all his might. Jiang Cheng's plan was to bring him up into the sky. In that case, the other dragon warriors around would be able to see the situation and come over to help. Anyway, if others saw this, his life would be spared. Even if he exposed the fact that he had taken the initiative to attack Kong Shinmu and Jiang Yuaning, what awaited him was at most some punishment. To him, it was better than dying in the hands of Kong Shinmu. Of course, Kong Shinmu didn't want the other party to escape from his mouth. It wasn't easy for a fellow to court death in front of Kong Shinmu. Of course, he wouldn't let him off so easily. This was an excellent opportunity for Kong Shinmu to improve his divine dragon grade. Get down here. The black dragon that Kong Shinmu had transformed into swung its tail and directly wrapped around a huge mountain peak. The two divine dragons' flight was immediately halted. There was a loud explosion. In a fit of rage, the thunder-slaying true dragon released a purple thunderbolt that directly blasted the huge mountain peak, smashing it into pieces. Kong Shinmu's focus was suddenly gone. The thunder-slaying true dragon continued to fly up into the sky with the black dragon. The surrounding dense forest was hundreds of feet high. However, at this speed, the bodies of the two divine dragons would be exposed in the sky in less than 15 minutes. Without the cover of the dense forest, the dragon warriors within 1,000 miles would be able to see their battle. At that time, if Kong Shinmu still wanted to kill Jiang Cheng, he would face endless resistance and it would be almost impossible for him to do so. Devour, devour. The devouring power in Kong Shinmu's body surged and even covered the entire huge thunder-slaying true dragon. The thunder-slaying true dragon's body was covered with wounds from Jiang Yuaning's moonlight saber gleam. Now, it was even more convenient for Kong Shinmu's devouring power. The thunder-slaying true dragon's body was covered by the devouring power. Its flesh, blood, and life essence were constantly being drained. With only its last thought, it continued to fly up into the sky. After all, it was a 30 feet long true dragon. The physical strength of the thunder-slaying true dragon was several times stronger than that of the black dragon that Kong Shinmu had transformed into. Under such circumstances, the black dragon simply couldn't stop the thunder-slaying true dragon from flying up. Jiang Yuaning had just been seriously injured and could barely stand, let alone come forward to help. It was impossible for her to help. The only thing she could do now was to pray for Kong Shinmu and pray that Kong Shinmu could defeat his opponent. Right now, she still didn't know that Kong Shinmu had already gained the upper hand in the battle, so she was completely worried. Roar! The thunder-slaying true dragon roared with all its might, trying to make its roar spread further to attract others. As for Kong Shinmu, he was doing his best to devour its flesh, blood, and life essence. He had an unparalleled obsession in his heart. He must kill this guy. If he didn't kill him now, there would be no end to his troubles. Kong Shinmu knew that the crime of Jiang Cheng taking the initiative to attack him was definitely not enough for the Jiang clan to sentence him to death. Therefore, to kill Jiang Cheng and eliminate any future troubles, Kong Shinmu could only do it himself. Now that there was a chance, he had to seize it. The thunder-slaying true dragon's flesh, blood, and life essence were constantly devoured by Kong Shinmu, allowing him to recover all his strength. He was full of energy, and his body was constantly growing. Under his vigorous devouring, the thunder-slaying true dragon became weaker and weaker, and its speed of ascending became slower and slower. When it rose to a height of 30 feet, the thunder-slaying true dragon's entire body finally became powerless, and it almost stopped moving. Once the thunder-slaying true dragon lost its strength, it would never be able to fly again. Chapter 3802. A true dragon and a mortal dragon fell to the ground of the forest almost at the same time, creating a large pit in the charred ground. Jiang Cheng was completely exhausted. There was no way he could turn the situation around. He couldn't even fly. Jiang Cheng was in the same state as Kong Shinmu. He had no ability to resist and was on the verge of death. If no one came to save him, he would definitely die. After all, Jiang Cheng wasn't like Kong Shinmu, who had devouring power to heal himself. He did have a few earth demon cores with him, but he couldn't absorb the power within them. Most importantly, Jiang Cheng had already confirmed that there was no one else nearby in order to kill Kong Shinmu on his own. Now that he was about to be killed by Kong Shinmu, there was no chance that anyone else would come across him. There were no other dragon martial artists in the direction that Jiang Cheng came from. On the other side, there was no one else in the direction where Jiang Yuaning was hunting the violent flower tiger. In other words, Jiang City had fallen into a situation of certain death. Under such circumstances, Jiang Cheng had lost his original dominance. The arrogance that he had when he first appeared in front of Kong Shinmu was long gone. The thunder-slaying true dragon that Jiang Cheng had transformed into was already riddled with wounds. Not only were there countless wounds on the surface from the moonlight saber gleam, but almost half of the flesh and life essence in his body had been devoured by Kong Shinmu. Because of this, he was so weak that he had to use up all his strength just to breathe. Kong Shinmu? Kong Shinmu? Stop it. What happened today? Jiang Cheng was in the wrong? The fear of death emerged in Jiang Cheng's chest, causing him to beg for mercy. Begging for mercy was something he had never imagined would happen to him. Moreover, he was begging for mercy from Kong Shinmu. But now, Jiang Cheng had no other choice. If he didn't beg for mercy, he would die. So, he was more willing to beg for mercy. Although there was little hope that Kong Shinmu would let him go, he did not want to give up the hope of living. For people like Jiang Cheng, he would do anything if he could survive, not to mention begging for mercy. Unfortunately, at a time like this, how could Kong Shinmu let Jiang Cheng live? Jiang Cheng had already seen the devouring power. Just for this secret, Kong Shinmu had to kill him. Otherwise, Kong Shinmu would die. Because Jiang Cheng was currently enveloped in the fear of death, he didn't have time to think. Once he let him go, he would definitely know why Jiang Xinyu and Jiang Luo disappeared. Kong Shinmu had such a strong devouring power. It was very likely that they were devoured by Kong Shinmu. This possibility didn't need to be proven. As long as Jiang Cheng thought of it, it would be Kong Shinmu's death. After this, if Jiang Cheng survived, he would definitely try his best to kill Kong Shinmu. Then, after he guessed this possibility, he would report it to the Jiang tribal clan. That would be the best chance to eradicate Kong Shinmu. So, Kong Shinmu couldn't give his opponent such a chance to threaten his life. So, Jiang Cheng had to die. Where's the arrogance you had when you wanted to kill me? Kong Shinmu snorted coldly. The black dragon's tooth, which was at its peak, pierced deeply into the thunder-slaying true dragon's body. The thick devouring power surrounded the entire thunder-slaying true dragon, constantly devouring its remaining flesh and blood essence, replenishing the black dragon that Kong Shinmu had transformed into. Letting Jiang Cheng go was absolutely impossible. No matter what, Kong Shinmu wanted to kill Jiang Cheng today. No matter how he considered it, it was a must. Moreover, Jiang Yuaning had been seriously injured by Jiang Cheng's sneak attack. If he let Jiang Cheng go, Kong Shinmu wouldn't be able to feel at ease. The devouring power erupted even more violently. The pitch-black devouring power drowned the entire thunder-slaying true dragon. Jiang Cheng constantly begged for mercy, constantly called for help, and constantly struggled. But as time passed, his begging for mercy became softer and softer, until there was no sound at all. At this time, Kong Shinmu had almost devoured the entire thunder-slaying true dragon. The flesh and blood essence all surged into Kong Shinmu's body, and was completely absorbed by the black dragon's body. At this moment, the black dragon's body was already 150 feet long. Compared to the initial 80 feet ordinary dragon, it had nearly doubled in length. And from the beginning to the end, he had devoured the divine dragon bodies of Jiang Xinyu, Jiang Luo, and Jiang Cheng. According to this situation, he only needed to devour 3 more true dragon's inheritance dragon warriors to step into the realm of a true dragon. However, 3 true dragons was undoubtedly extremely difficult for Kong Shinmu. In the Jiang tribal clan, every true dragon's inheritor was treated as a treasure. How could they be easily devoured by him? Ignoring everything else, just devouring Jiang Cheng would cause great trouble if he did not handle the aftermath well. It might even bring about a fatal disaster. Anyway, in a short period of time, it was impossible for Kong Shinmu to find another true dragon's inheritance dragon warrior to devour. Jiang Yuaning watched from the side as the 2 divine dragons fought and fell from the sky. Jiang Cheng was actually begging for mercy, which shocked her. She could not see the situation clearly, but thinking about it, she felt gratified that Kong Shinmu had the upper hand. Gradually, as Jiang Cheng's begging voice became softer, Jiang Yuaning's heart sank. She knew that Jiang Cheng was probably going to be killed by Kong Shinmu. In fact, Jiang Yuaning also felt that Kong Shinmu had to kill Jiang Cheng. Because of this, she did not say anything to stop him. However, after Jiang Cheng was killed, trouble would follow, and it would definitely be great trouble. Ignoring everything else, how should they deal with the corpse? On Jiang Cheng's thunder-slaying true dragon's body, there were scars from her moonlight saber beam and Kong Shinmu's devouring power aura. After resting for a period of time, Jiang Yuaning gradually recovered some of her strength. Although her injuries had not recovered, she could already move. She gradually walked in the direction where Kong Shinmu was devouring the thunder-slaying true dragon. Soon, she saw the situation clearly. Her pupils suddenly contracted. The scene that appeared in front of her was a black dragon entrenched, and the thunder-slaying true dragon was only left with its skeleton. It was tightly entangled by the black dragon, and the dark devouring power lingered in all directions, emitting a terrifying aura. Gone? Only the skeleton was left? No, not even the skeleton was left. Chapter 3803. The divine dragon's bone was the hardest part of the divine dragon's body. Legend has it that in some divine dragon tombs, after thousands of years, the flesh would have long decayed, but the divine dragon's bone would not deteriorate, and could survive for tens of thousands of years. For Kong Shinmu, the difficulty of devouring the divine dragon's bone was much higher than devouring its flesh and blood essence. But correspondingly, if he succeeded, Kong Shinmu's harvest would be much greater. Devouring the divine dragon's flesh and blood essence could only increase the size of Kong Shinmu's black dragon transformation. It could increase his brute force, but it was of no help to the black dragon's evolution. Only by devouring other divine dragon's bone could the black dragon's grade be increased, and complete the transformation from a mortal dragon to a true dragon. Of course, this required Kong Shinmu to devour enough divine dragon's bone. True transformation was not easy to achieve. And objectively speaking, Kong Shinmu did not want to become a true dragon so soon. To be honest, just the fact that the black dragon's body had grown to 150 feet was enough to worry him. This meant that he could not transform into a dragon in front of the majority of the Zhang clan. Otherwise they would be able to sense something. After all, he had obtained the blood essence, which allowed him to become an 80-foot mortal dragon. How could he suddenly become a 150-foot mortal dragon? In addition, Zhang Xinyu, Zhang Luo, and Zhang Cheng were dead. Once someone linked the two together, Kong Shinmu's situation would not be good. In any case, the first thing Zhang Xinwu had to do now was to devour all the bones of the thunder-slaying true dragon. Not only did he want to evolve his grade, but he also wanted to destroy all the evidence of the battle. As long as Zhang Cheng did not leave a single trace, then no one would know of the battle. As for Zhang Yuaning's injuries, it could be attributed to an earth fey beast that had mastered the power of thunder. It had nothing to do with Zhang Cheng. If they couldn't find any trace of Zhang Cheng's body, then Zhang Cheng, like Zhang Xinyu and Zhang Luo, would be deemed missing by the Zhang clan. Of course, even if that was the case, Kong Shinmu would have to be more careful in the future. After all, 3 juniors who had just turned into dragons had disappeared in such a short period of time. This was not a small matter. Moreover, Zhang Cheng was a genius who had inherited the essence blood of a true dragon. With Zhang Xinyu and Zhang Luo missing, the Zhang clan only sent a small team to search for them. But once Zhang Cheng disappeared, the Zhang tribe would definitely send many experts to investigate. Although there was no result in the end, if something like this were to happen again in the future, Kong Shinmu would give himself away more and more. No matter what, the fact that he could devour a divine dragon must not be known to others. This made Kong Shinmu feel conflicted because Zhang Yuaning clearly knew the characteristics of his devouring power. If Zhang Yuaning reported this matter to the Zhang clan, Kong Shinmu's situation would be very bad. Even if he wanted to escape from the Zhang clan, he would have to consider his mother, Gu Yuero. If Kong Shinmu were to escape, the one who would suffer would undoubtedly be Gu Yuero. Kong Shinmu would never let such a thing happen. Zhang Shinwu's black dragon formed tightly wrapped around the Thunder Slayer True Dragon's incomplete dragon skeleton, completely submerging it with his devouring power. If it weren't for the occasional purple thunder dragon skeleton, Zhang Yuaning, who was nearby, wouldn't have been able to tell that this was the Thunder Slayer True Dragon. She really did not expect that Kong Shinmu could kill Zhang Cheng, and in such a cruel manner. But when she thought of the scene she saw when she first arrived, Kong Shinmu had been bombarded by the purple thunder power, and his body was charred black in the dense forest. She knew that Zhang Cheng deserved to die. Everything was caused by Zhang Cheng himself. If Zhang Cheng had not taken the initiative to attack Kong Shinmu, and wanted to bully the weak, how could he have suffered such a fate? After all, Zhang Yuaning was standing on Kong Shinmu's side. If it were anyone else, their view would be completely different. But now, Zhang Yuaning was seriously injured, so she could only speak softly. Of course, she could not run to Kong Shinmu's side and tell him her thoughts. She could only wait by the side, hoping that Kong Shinmu would finish quickly. After all, if this matter was discovered, the consequences would be dire. Even if they were in the right, others would not listen to them. All they saw was Kong Shinmu devouring Zhang Cheng, completely devouring him. In the Zhang clan, this was definitely a heinous crime. Devouring the Thunder Dragon's bones was indeed difficult. At least, it was not something that could be done in a short period of time. But, no matter what, Kong Shinmu had to finish it as soon as possible. During the devouring process, Kong Shinmu discovered that Zhang Cheng originally had 4 earth fey cores from 4 different fey beasts, which contained a very strong power of the earth. This made up for the loss of devouring the Berserk Flower Tiger's fey core, and he even earned quite a bit. Among the 4 fey cores on Zhang Cheng's body, there were 2 second-layer earth fey cores and 2 third-layer earth fey cores, adding up to a total of 10 points. This could be regarded as a great help in this demon-slaying experience. After all, it was the harvest of a true dragon's inheritor in nearly a day. Moreover, it was something that only a dragon warrior with a powerful attack like the Thunder Slayer True Dragon could achieve. Zhang Yuaning, for example, could not do this. Zhang Yuaning's innate power of the divine dragon was not as strong as Zhang Cheng's. It could be said that Zhang Yuaning's power could easily injure people, but not easily kill them. Jiang Cheng's purple thunderbolt power was the opposite. It was extremely easy to produce a fatal effect, and its strong penetrative power was enough to directly bombard the enemy's internal organs. The Thunder Dragon's bones were gradually devoured by Kong Shinmu. Kong Shinmu could feel that the essence of the thunder-slaying true dragon's inheritance blood essence was all devoured into his body, and then integrated into his black dragon's inheritance bloodline, constantly improving the bloodline's grade. His devouring power was also constantly strengthened by Kong Shinmu's devouring. This was a permanent strengthening, unlike the temporary strengthening when he devoured the Earth Phase Fey core. If he completely devoured the thunder-slaying true dragon's dragon bones, Kong Shinmu felt that his devouring power would double. If his black dragon's inheritance blood essence was upgraded to the level of a true dragon, the strength of his devouring power would definitely increase by 4 or 5 times. In that case, if Kong Shinmu encountered an opponent at Jiang Cheng's level again, he would definitely not be as miserable as he was this time. At least he would not be seriously injured and on the verge of death by the other party's electrocution. Zhang Yuaning was waiting at the side. After a while, she suddenly sensed some movement in the distance, and her heart skipped a beat. Although she was still seriously injured, she still staggered quickly towards the source of the movement. In her heart, she thought that if any dragon warrior came nearby, she must not let them see the scene of Kong Shinmu devouring the dragon bones. Chapter 3804. When Zhang Yuaning arrived in the direction of the commotion, she discovered that it was not a dragon martial artist, but 2 demonic beasts that were eyeing Kong Shinmu. Zhang Yuaning heaved a sigh of relief at the situation, but at the same time, she became nervous. Zhang Yuaning was not in a good state and had no fighting strength, while Kong Shinmu was devouring the thunder-slaying true dragon bone. If he was ambushed, it would be hard to predict what would happen to him. Upon closer inspection, Zhang Yuaning discovered that the 2 demonic beasts were earth demons of the first realm. Although they were not strong, they were almost invincible to Zhang Yuaning and Kong Shinmu. The 2 white-patterned gray wolf earth demons crept closer and observed the situation. If Zhang Yuaning had not been fully alert to the surroundings, she would not have noticed the 2 white-patterned gray wolves. On the other hand, Zhang Yuaning did not let the 2 white-patterned gray wolves discover her. After all, Zhang Yuaning was prepared. She could approach quietly and conceal her movements. What should I do? What should I do? Zhang Yuaning's heart raced. Kong Shinmu would need at least 15 minutes to devour the entire divine dragon bone. If the 2 white-patterned gray wolves attacked Kong Shinmu in that time, could Kong Shinmu fend them off? Zhang Yuaning did not know that Kong Shinmu had completely recovered to his peak state. She thought that Zhang Shinwu had just gone through a battle of life and death and was exhausted. However, the devouring power had shrouded the entire area in darkness, so Zhang Yuaning couldn't see clearly what was going on. Because of this, the 2 white-patterned gray wolf earth demons watched nervously from afar, not daring to make a move. Although it was the best time to take advantage of the battle, the white-patterned gray wolf earth demons were quite cunning. Before confirming that Kong Shinmu had lost most of his fighting strength, they would not dare to make a move. After all, these 2 white-patterned gray wolves were only at the first layer of the earth demon realm. Their direct combat abilities were actually relatively weak. The commotion caused by Jiang Shenwu and Jiang Cheng's confrontation was completely sensed by these 2 white-patterned gray wolves. That kind of power was definitely not something that the 2 first-layer earth demons could fight against. Therefore, it was normal for them to be cautious. Zhang Yuaning was on guard at the side. If the 2 wolves wanted to attack Kong Shinmu, she would immediately help Kong Shinmu stop them. Although Zhang Yuaning was extremely weak now, she did not want to see Kong Shinmu being killed by these 2 beasts. No matter what, she would be able to hold off Kong Shinmu for a while. Time passed bit by bit. Kong Shinmu continued to devour the thunder-slaying true dragon's bone. He felt the devouring power in his body growing stronger and stronger. The grade of the black dragon was also slowly increasing. If he appeared in front of others in his dragon form, most people would be able to tell that the black dragon he had transformed into was slightly different from before. However, even if they looked closely, they would not be able to tell what the difference was. An ordinary dragon was still an ordinary dragon. At most, the length of the dragon had grown to 150 feet. As for the slight increase in grade, others would not be able to tell. Zhang Yuaning could not tell either. The pitch-black devouring power covered the entire thunder-slaying true dragon's bone and continued to devour it. Although it was difficult, it was gradually devouring it. It turned into pure energy and flowed into the body of the black dragon that Kong Shinmu had transformed into. Because of devouring the violent flower tiger earth demon, Kong Shinmu's devouring power was strengthened in a short period of time. The devouring power was much stronger than usual. Therefore, the devouring speed was much faster than when he devoured the bones of Zhang Xinyu and Zhang Luo. Moreover, when devouring the thunder-slaying true dragon's bone, the devouring power was constantly increasing. The speed of devouring was getting faster and faster. The thunder-slaying true dragon's bone was rapidly being engulfed by the pitch-black devouring power. It was only a little bit away from being completely devoured. At this time, Kong Shinmu suddenly sensed that something was pouncing towards him. He was shocked and quickly turned his attention to the outside world. He found that it was two white-striped gray wolves at the first Earth Demon realm. They were pouncing towards him in two different directions. A familiar figure jumped out from one direction and stopped one of the white-striped gray wolves. That figure was Zhang Yuaning. However, Zhang Yuaning was staggering when she walked. How could she deal with a white-striped gray wolf Earth Demon? Zhang Yuaning, get out of the way. I'll be fine. Kong Shinmu immediately shouted. Without hesitation, he gave up the last bit of the thunder-slaying true dragon's bone and flew up to Zhang Yuaning's side. The white-patterned gray wolf that was initially held back by Zhang Yuaning wanted to bite the weakened Zhang Yuaning to death first. However, it suddenly felt the tyrannical aura of the black dragon descending from the sky, and its entire body suddenly became weak. The white-striped gray wolf quickly retreated without any hesitation. When the black dragon that Kong Shinmu had transformed into flew up, his aura made the white-striped gray wolf tremble with fear. The two earth demons immediately judged that they were no match for the dragon warrior in front of them. Therefore, they turned around and ran without hesitation. Kong Shinmu had wanted to chase them. After all, he could easily kill such prey and obtain 2 points. Why not? However, he did not chase them in the end. Instead, he allowed the two white-striped gray wolves to escape. This was because Zhang Yuaning had taken a wrong step and almost fell. She was already at her limit. She did not have a devouring power like Kong Shinmu. Once she was injured, it would be extremely difficult for her to recover. Moreover, her injuries were caused by the purple thunderbolts of Jiang City. They were all internal injuries. Even with the best elixirs, she would need to rest for a period of time and might not be able to fully recover. This made Kong Shinmu anxious. If Zhang Yuaning really could not get up, then the results of the Grand Prince Palace's demon-slaying experience would be worrisome. Even without Jiang City, the South Prefecture was no longer a concern. Even so, the Grand Prince Palace could only rank 3rd or 4th. It was impossible for them to obtain a better chance to cultivate the dragon martial skill. Kong Shinmu would not admit defeat. At this moment, he held the weak Zhang Yuaning in his arms. Without hesitation, he activated his devouring power and enveloped Zhang Yuaning. He then took out a monster core of a second heaven earth demon and transferred the devouring power to Zhang Yuaning. Chapter 3805. The two white-patterned gray wolves fled, but Kong Shinmu did not chase after them. Instead, he stayed behind and held Zhang Yuaning's frail body in his arms. Then, the pitch-black devouring power continuously surged into one of the earth demon's demon cores. After the devouring power devoured the power of the earth in the monster core, it refined it into pure energy and transferred it to Zhang Yuaning's body in his arms. This pure energy began to rapidly replenish Zhang Yuaning's exhausted physical strength and began to heal her internal organs. Fortunately, I can really use this method to heal her injuries. Kong Shinmu discovered this and admired the devouring power even more. He even had a vague feeling that if this continued to devour and develop, this black ordinary dragon's blood essence would be even more powerful than the sky dragon's blood essence. Of course, this required him to put in long-term and sustained effort. Once he relaxed, it was very likely that he would fall into a state of eternal damnation. Soon, Kong Shinmu discovered that although he could use the devouring power to devour the earth demon's demon cores to heal Zhang Yuaning's injuries, the efficiency of healing other people's injuries was nearly half compared to absorbing the earth demon's demon cores to heal himself. If Kong Shinmu needed one earth demon's demon core to heal himself when he was seriously injured, then he would need 2 earth demon's demon cores to heal others. This was related to the problem of energy conversion and had little to do with Kong Shinmu's own ability. Therefore, if he wanted to heal others, he would have to pay twice the price of healing himself. Even so, He could not leave Jiang Yuaning alone. Not to mention paying twice the price. Even if he had to pay 3 or 10 times the price, he had to heal Jiang Yuaning. Kong Xinmu carried her and checked her internal injuries. He discovered that if he wanted to heal all her injuries, he would not need as many as 2 Earth Demon's demon cores. 1 Earth Demon's demon core at the 3rd level was enough. Anyway, this time Kong Xinmu had obtained a lot of Earth Demon's demon cores from Jiang Cheng, so there was no need to save them. If Jiang Yuaning fully recovered, she would join forces with Kong Xinmu to continue hunting Earth Demons. In any case, it would be too tiring for Kong Xinmu to be alone in the Sky Exorcist jungle. Moreover, hunting Earth Demons would not be efficient. Although Jiang Xinwu's strength had increased a lot compared to before, he was still slightly inferior to Jiang Cheng and Jiang Yuaning, who were the inheritors of the true dragon. By cooperating with Jiang Yuaning, the two of them would be able to obtain at least dozens of Earth Demon cores of different grades in the next 2 days. If Jiang Xinwu was alone, he would be thankful if he could obtain 10 Earth Demon cores. 2 people moving together was always faster than 1 person moving together. As time passed, the energy in the Earth Demon's demon core was constantly devoured by Kong Xinmu and turned into pure energy that surged into Jiang Yuaning's body to heal her serious injuries. At this moment, Jiang Yuaning was extremely surprised by Kong Xinmu's methods. She could clearly feel that her internal injuries were constantly improving, and the energy that she had consumed was also rapidly replenishing. This made her extremely shocked. She really did not expect Kong Xinmu to have such a powerful ability. Although Kong Xinmu had only inherited the essence and blood of an ordinary dragon, it seemed that this black dragon was not an ordinary dragon. Other ordinary dragons' demons' inheritors did not have such powerful combat strength like Kong Xinmu, nor did they have such amazing methods of healing others. Everything indicated that the inheritance that Kong Xinmu had obtained was extraordinary. At this time, Jiang Yuaning did not have time to be surprised. In the Drive Sky Forest, where danger lurked everywhere, Jiang Yuaning knew that the most important thing now was to recover to her peak condition. Otherwise, she would easily encounter danger again. Therefore, when Kong Xinmu healed her injuries, she also wholeheartedly cultivated her body and mind, relaxing her mind, and strived to recover to her peak condition during this period of time. This was the only way that their next operation would be more successful. After witnessing Kong Xinmu's ability, Jiang Yuaning was even more confident about this demon-slaying experience. Originally, her target was only 2nd or 3rd place, but now, she really could make a dash for 1st place. This was because Kong Xinmu's recovery ability was too convenient for him to fight in the Drive Sky Forest. Even if she had obtained the mysterious Sky Jade Fire Dragon's inheritance, she would not be able to fight continuously in the Drive Sky Forest. She would probably need to rest at night. However, Kong Xinmu and Jiang Yuaning did not necessarily need to rest. If they were tired, the two could rely on their devouring power to absorb a bit of pure energy and continue fighting. Although they would use up 1 or 2 Earth Fey cores to recover their energy, if they continued fighting for the entire night, they should be able to kill more than 2 Earth Fey, right? Simply put, if Jiang Xinwu and Jiang Yuaning worked together, as long as their hunting speed was high enough, then they really could surpass the northern residence where Jiang Liuxue was. Of course, this required them to put in their best efforts, and ultimately, success depended on luck. After all, Jiang Liuxue, who had obtained the mysterious Sky Jade Fire Dragon's inheritance, was extremely powerful. The speed at which she hunted Fey beasts was faster than Kong Xinmu and Jiang Yuaning combined. After about an hour, Jiang Yuaning felt that her mental state had recovered to its peak, and there were not many injuries left on her body. During the battle with Jiang Cheng, she had suffered serious injuries from Jiang Cheng's sneak attack, but she had completely recovered in such a short period of time. This was simply unbelievable. Even if the Jiang tribal clan's rescue team came and gave her some excellent healing elixirs, they would not be able to achieve such an efficiency. And all of this was because of Kong Xinmu. Kong Xinmu's devouring power was too powerful. The power from devouring the Earth Fey core could be used to heal himself, and even others. How do you feel now? Kong Xinmu asked after he finished absorbing the Earth Fey core, and felt that Jiang Yuaning's condition was much better. When Jiang Yuaning heard his question, she suddenly realized that she was in his arms. She could not help but blush and quickly took 2 steps back. She tidied her long hair and sleeves, pretending that nothing had happened, and said, "Your ability is really powerful. My internal injuries are basically healed. Let's not delay any further. Let's set off quickly." The sun is about to set. Yes, we need to hunt as many fey beasts as possible. Kong Shinmu nodded and looked around. For the time being, there were no other fey beasts nearby. As for the two white patterned gray wolves, they had long run away. Since they were sure that they were no match for them, fey beasts like the white patterned gray wolves would not stay far away. They would quickly leave in search of other prey. Chapter 3806. The demon-slaying training required the young geniuses of the Jiang clan to survive for 3 days and 3 nights in the driving heaven forest, killing earth fey and fey beasts for 3 days. The total number of earth fey cores obtained by the 5 prefectures represented each prefecture's score. According to the score, the young geniuses of each prefecture would have different qualifications to practice the dragon martial skill. The higher the score, the better the dragon martial skill. This was not to say that the Jiang clan was stingy, but it was a very normal method of competition in this world. Only through competition could there be breakthroughs and development. If there was no competition, then anyone could practice the strongest dragon martial skill. In that case, many juniors would not cherish it. Even if their martial arts realm increased quickly, their actual battle strength might not be that strong. So, competition was the main theme of this martial arts world. All resources had to be fought for. To the current Kong Shinmu, the demon-slaying training was the biggest challenge in front of him. If he could surpass himself in this challenge, and defeat Jiang Liushue's northern prefecture, then his future martial arts journey would be much smoother. But the difficulty could be imagined. The battle strength of a mere true dragon inheritor, such as Jiang Cheng, had already completely overwhelmed Kong Shinmu, not to mention Jiang Liushue, who was the inheritor of the heavenly dragon. Jiang Liushue's heavenly mystical blue fire dragon legacy could suppress the vast majority of Earth Fae just by using her talent. Even 4th and 5th tier Earth Fae might not be able to withstand it. It could be said that in the outskirts of the driving heaven forest, Jiang Liushue could do whatever he wanted. He could kill the vast majority of Earth Fae in a single move. How could Kong Shinmu compete with such a person? His only chance was to become stronger during this period of time. Relying on the fact that he did not need to rest at night, he could use double the time with Jiang Yuaning to attempt to kill more Earth Fae than Jiang Liushue. If Kong Shinmu wanted to become stronger, the first was to devour the divine dragon. This could increase his dragon body and devouring power, and the second was to increase his martial arts realm. The first level of the dragon ascension realm was still too weak. If he could break through to the second level, then Kong Shinmu's strength would increase by a lot. In short, if he could advance to the third layer of the dragon ascension realm, then he could easily crush a dragon martial artist with a true dragon inheritance. If he could advance to the 5th layer of the dragon ascension realm, he could even confront Jiang Liushue head-on. The increase in cultivation brought about an all-round improvement to the dragon martial artist, including the physical body, talent, speed, strength, and other aspects of the explosive power. When Kong Shinmu was in the true martial realm, the reason why he could improve so quickly was that he had an outstanding talent in martial arts, and the speed at which he absorbed spiritual qi was far faster than that of ordinary people. And now, his speed of improvement in the martial arts realm would still surpass everyone else. In fact, after transforming into a dragon, Kong Shinmu's devouring power even helped him absorb spiritual qi, allowing him to improve even faster. However, even so, if he wanted to step into the second layer of the dragon ascension realm, it still wouldn't be so fast. According to the original speed, it would take at least half a year to break through. Even if he had the devouring power, and the speed at which he absorbed spiritual qi had further increased, it would still be impossible for him to break through so quickly. It would take at least 1 or 2 months. Therefore, this method could basically be rejected. Unless Kong Shinmu could get some medicinal pills containing rich spiritual qi, it would be possible for him to improve his cultivation as quickly as possible after taking the medicinal pills. But in this barren mountain, it was even more impossible to obtain medicinal pills. At night, Kong Shinmu and Jiang Yuaning were traversing through the forest. The range of their field of vision was constantly shrinking, and even as the sun set, the whole forest began to become dark. What they could see with their eyes became extremely limited, and basically everything was covered in darkness. Under such circumstances, it was very dangerous to move around in the Sky Drive forest. For example, if they were ambushed by the multicolored scorpion, its body would turn pitch black and completely hide in the darkness. Whether it was a sneak attack or a defeated escape, it would be several times more terrifying than it was during the day. Moreover, the earth demons were extremely familiar with the heavenly drive forest. Fighting in such a place at night would be very disadvantageous for a dragon martial artist. If it wasn't necessary, no one would be willing to hunt in the forest at night. But in order to surpass the northern residents, where Zhang Liuxue was, Kong Xinmu and Zhang Yuaning decided to continue killing demons. The others needed to rest, but Kong Xinmu could completely replenish his and Zhang Yuaning's physical strength and energy by devouring the earth demons' demon cores. Even if they didn't rest for 3 days and 3 nights, it wouldn't be a problem. As long as they could kill more earth demons and obtain more demon cores in one night, it would be a profit. The sky darkened and the entire Heavenly Drive forest was completely dark. The forest was so dark that one couldn't even see their fingers in front of them. Kong Xinmu and Zhang Yuaning leaned against each other as they quietly moved forward in the forest. Even when they stepped on the dense forest full of withered leaves, they didn't make the slightest sound. In a situation where they couldn't use their sight, their hearing became their most trusted way of sensing things. Any slight movement would attract the attention of Kong Xinmu and Zhang Yuaning, and vice versa. Therefore, when they moved, they couldn't make the slightest sound. Otherwise, it was very likely that their prey would escape. In fact, they might even be targeted by even more ferocious hunters. Even if they were dragon martial artists, being ambushed in this kind of forest was an extremely dangerous situation. Since the demon beasts dared to ambush them, it meant that they had the confidence to defeat them. The Heavenly Drive forest was even more dangerous at night. At this time, the other dragon martial artists who had entered the forest had basically found a place to set up camp. They wouldn't run around and would also set up sentries. On one hand, the forest was too dangerous at night, and on the other hand, they also needed to rest. At this time, only Kong Xinmu and Zhang Yuaning were still full of energy and were still moving deeper into the forest. There's movement. After moving forward for a while, Kong Xinmu suddenly sensed some subtle noises in front of him. However, he didn't make a sound and only stretched out his hand to draw a circle on the back of Zhang Yuaning's hand. This was the secret signal that they had agreed on. Drawing a circle meant that they were ready to attack. Although he didn't know what demon beast was in front of him, Kong Xinmu was extremely bold. At this time, if he didn't act boldly, he wouldn't have the chance to surpass Zhang Liuxue. He suddenly jumped out, shuttling through the darkness. In an instant, he pounced on a 4-legged demon beast with a hard carapace according to the sound he heard. As soon as Kong Xinmu succeeded, his devouring power condensed on his body and turned into a huge black dragon that pressed down on the carapace of the 4-legged demon beast. The dragon's claws were condensed with pitch-black mist, and it stabbed down at the other party's belly. Chapter 3807. On this night when everyone else was resting, Kong Xinmu and Zhang Yuaning were constantly running and fighting in the forest. The two did not go deeper into the Heavenly Drive forest, but continued to wander in the nearby area, looking for second and third layer earth demon beasts. After devouring the Thunder Slayer true dragon that Zhang Cheng had transformed into, his strength had greatly improved, and it was no problem for him to deal with second layer earth demon beasts alone. At night, there were many earth demons coming out of the Heavenly Drive forest to hunt, and there were many kinds of demon beasts that could not be seen during the day, such as the rock beetle, the ink-hidden earth dragon, and so on. They were all demon beasts that lived underground, resting during the day, and only came out at night to hunt. These kinds of demon beasts were usually solitary demon beasts, so it was easier to deal with them than during the day. It was just that in the dark night, it was not so easy to find these specialized nocturnal demon beasts. But for Kong Xinmu and Zhang Yuaning, it was not a particularly big problem, because with Kong Xinmu blocking in front, as long as the other party could not kill him in one go, he would eventually kill them. Even a centipede-like poisonous demon beast like the ink-hidden earth dragon could not poison Kong Xinmu to death in one go, and then Kong Xinmu used his devouring power to devour it, quickly increasing its poison resistance, and then Zhang Yuaning's moonlight power followed up and chopped the opponent into pieces. This kind of cooperation was very enjoyable, and the efficiency of hunting demon beasts was extremely high. During the day, it was very likely that they encountered those kind of demon beasts that lived in groups, and encountering one was equivalent to encountering several, and it was not so easy to deal with. But now, Kong Xinmu and Zhang Yuaning were easily hunting those demon beasts in the Heavenly Drive forest. Those demon beasts would never have thought that in the dark forest of the Heavenly Drive forest, there would actually be a dragon warrior moving, and when they came out to hunt for food, they would actually encounter a dragon warrior. All these factors together made Kong Xinmu and Zhang Yuaning's hunting efficiency extremely high at night. At daybreak, Kong Xinmu and Jiang Yuaning counted the total number of Earth Demon Cores they had obtained so far, and found that there were a total of 6 Earth Demon Cores at the third layer, 11 Earth Demon Cores at the second layer, and 25 Earth Demon Cores at the first layer. The two of them had reaped a bountiful harvest. Even Zhang Liuxue would not have been able to obtain so many demon cores. Of course, Zhang Liuxue had long since ventured deeper into the Heaven Drive Forest to deal with the 4th and 5th layer Earth Demons. Although the number of Earth Demons couldn't compare to Zhang Xinwu and Jiang Yuaning, their total points were definitely higher. If they wanted to catch Liuxue, they would have to work even harder. The Demon 2-2 Demon Dragon 2 had and 3, and had Demon 2 Demon Demons at 2-1, and Demon Dragon Liuxue, and had Jiang 2 Dragon Yang 1 in and Demon 1 Dragon, 1-2 Dragons, 2 Young Dragons is 9 Liuxue 1-2 Dragon, and the two of them had not rested for the whole night and were a little tired, but after devouring the power of the earth from the 3 Earth Demon Cores, they immediately recovered to their peak condition. Your talent is very useful. Although it doesn't have that explosive destructive power in a head-on confrontation, it's much more useful than my moonlight power. Jiang Yuaning couldn't help but sigh. Divine dragons all have different talents. I only hope that I can rise to the top one day. Kong Xinmu shook his head. Only he knew how difficult it was to rise to the top with this devouring power, and the most difficult thing was to take the first step. As long as he could take that step, devour enough divine dragons, and step into the level of a true dragon, then his future would be much easier. But where was he going to find so many true dragons to devour? Previously, Jiang Cheng was courting death by taking the initiative to attack Kong Xinmu and Jiang Yuaning. Ultimately, because he did not expect Kong Xinmu's talent to be so terrifying, he was defeated by Kong Xinmu. In the entire Jiang tribal clan, the number of true dragon inheritors could be counted. It was impossible for Kong Xinmu to casually devour others. Furthermore, if he were to devour dragon warriors who had no grudges with him, Kong Xinmu would feel apologetic. To him, if others did not offend him, he would not offend them. Even if it was for the sake of devouring, he would not take the initiative to find trouble with other dragon warriors. As a dragon warrior, he naturally had to have his own firm beliefs while living in this world. Kong Xinmu did not consider himself to be a good person, but he would not do something so extreme and selfish, such as devouring other dragon warriors. If that was the case, he would not be able to get over the hurdle in his heart. Furthermore, the more he devoured, the easier it was to reveal clues. It would be easy for others to know that he was the one who devoured the dragon warrior's blood essence and dragon bones. If this news were to spread, Kong Xinmu would become the mortal enemy of all dragon warriors. There was no doubt about it. Now, only Jiang Yuaning was so protective of Kong Xinmu. After all, she had fought alongside Kong Xinmu for a long time. She knew what kind of person Kong Xinmu was. Although Jiang Xinwu was only a mortal dragon's descendant, he was not afraid of death in battle. He risked his life to create the best environment for Jiang Yuaning to kill the Earth Demon. This ability was not something that any mortal dragon's descendant could do. As expected of Jiang Longjuan's son, Jiang Yuaning thought of the once stalwart figure, Jiang Longjun, who had been missing for 10 years. He was also Kong Xinmu's father, Jiang Zizai. At that time, Jiang Zizai was still in the Jiang clan. Jiang Yuaning was just a 10-year-old girl. Under the influence of what she saw and heard, everyone around her worshipped Jiang Longjun. Although Jiang Zizai disappeared later, his stalwart figure still left a place in Jiang Yuaning's heart, leaving a deep impression on her. Don't worry, Kong Xinmu. You are Jiang Longjuan's son. Back then, Jiang Longjun was so high-spirited. You won't lose to him. Jiang Yuaning patted Kong Xinmu's shoulder and said with a smile, "Come on, let's continue hunting Earth Fae. Today we can go deeper and try to deal with the 4th layer Earth Fae." Well, even if we don't go deeper, we should change our location. We killed too many Earth Fae in this area last night. The smell of blood is too strong. I'm afraid other Earth Fae will not dare to come here again. Kong Xinmu nodded. He agreed with Jiang Yuaning. With their current strength, it was too easy for them to deal with the 1st and 2nd layer Earth Fae. Even the 3rd layer Earth Fae would not be too difficult. In fact, Jiang Yuaning could handle it alone. Therefore, it was normal for the two to want to challenge a higher difficulty and find the 4th layer Earth Fae. After the two recovered to their peak condition, they headed deeper into Sky Drive Forest. Chapter 3808. Kong Xinmu and Jiang Yuaning walked hand in hand. Both of them were in high spirits and full of energy. There was no sign of exhaustion from fighting for a whole night. If others saw this, they would definitely be extremely shocked. However, it was obvious that Kong Xinmu would not let others know the secret of his devouring power. Even for Jiang Yuaning, Jiang Xinwu had only revealed the devouring power in an intense battle when he had no choice but to do so. Fortunately, Jiang Yuaning did not have any doubts about this. Even after Kong Xinmu devoured the thunder-slaying true dragon that Jiang Chang had transformed into, she still stood firmly on his side. In the beginning, Kong Xinmu and Jiang Yuaning did not have much of a relationship. But now, they had already become comrades who had fought side by side and gone through life and death situations together. Kong Xinmu and Jiang Yuaning had absolute trust in each other. As the two of them ventured deeper into the Sky Drive forest, the number of demonic beasts in the surroundings began to decrease. However, the demonic beasts that appeared would definitely be stronger than before. Be careful, there's a black granite man in front. Kong Xinmu saw a small hill in front of him. A huge black boulder appeared in his field of vision. It was entrenched in the dense forest on the hillside and was motionless. That thing looked like a huge black boulder, but in fact, it was an earth demon. It was a black granite man that had reached the fourth heaven of earth demon. This was the first time the two of them had seen a fourth heaven earth demon. Fortunately, this black granite man was clumsy and there were no other black granite men around it. A fourth heaven earth demon that was alone. Kong Xinmu and Jiang Yuaning looked at each other and saw the joy in each other's eyes. There was no doubt that this black granite man would become an opponent for them to practice with. Jiang Xinwu immediately transformed into a black dragon and charged towards the black rock golem. His 150-foot body descended from the sky and landed where the black rock golem was in one fell swoop. The black dragon's claws directly clasped the black granite man. Unfortunately, the skin of the black granite man was too hard. Kong Xinmu's black dragon's claws could not pierce through the skin and into its body. Therefore, the devouring power could not be unleashed. If the devouring power was used to directly devour the opponent's body, the effect would be reduced by at least half. After all, this was a fourth-layer earth demon. If Kong Xinmu's devouring power could not invade its body, it would not be able to affect it too much. The black granite men were famous for their thick skin and flesh. Not only that, but their regenerative abilities were also extremely shocking. If Kong Xinmu couldn't break through the skin's defense, the damage caused by Kong Xinmu's devour would be negligible. It would be faster than his own recovery. Just then, Jiang Yuaning's attack arrived. The power of the moon transformed into countless sword lights that rained down on the black lava golem like a sky full of arrows. They landed right beside the black dragon and bombarded the black lava golem. Jiang Yuaning's ability to control the power of the moon and the sword qi had reached a level where she could control them like her own arm. Even when the black dragon that Kong Xinmu had transformed into pounced on the black lava golem, she could still control the sword qi to avoid the black dragon's body and directly attack the black lava golem. The penetrating power of the moon and the sword qi was indeed not weak. Even though it was a fourth-layer earth demon, some parts of its body were broken by Jiang Yuaning's attack. Some inconspicuous cracks began to appear on the body of the black lava golem. Although it was not seriously injured, these cracks were enough for Kong Xinmu. Devouring power? Cover. Kong Xinmu did not disappoint Jiang Yuaning's efforts. He took the opportunity to condense the devouring power and covered all the small cracks on the black lava golem's body. Then, the devouring power invaded its body. Although the black lava golem's recovery speed was very fast, after the devouring power invaded its body, the cracks on its body were difficult to heal. This was because Kong Xinmu's devouring power had already started to devour the energy in the black lava golem's body, causing the black lava golem's recovery ability to become extremely weak. Roar! The black lava golem was injured and it roared with all its might. Its huge body finally got up from its prostrate state. The entire black rock was 150 feet tall, and was not any weaker than the black dragon that Kong Xinmu had transformed into. The black lava golem stood up and its pair of black rock hands smashed towards the black dragon on its body. The black dragon that Kong Xinmu had transformed into did not dodge. Instead, he was prepared to take the hit head-on. He was mentally prepared for the power of the black lava golem's attack. It might even smash him to death. However, he did not retreat at all. Once he retreated, the devouring power would be forced out of the black lava golem's body, and it would not be easy for it to invade its body again. Devour, devour. Kong Shinmu did not retreat. Instead, he activated the devouring power in his body and used 100% of his strength to devour the black lava golem's energy into his own. The black lava golem's fist smashed down and directly hit the waist of the black dragon's body. A huge force descended from the sky and completely flattened the waist of the black dragon's body. This situation shocked Zhang Yuaning, who was not far away. This was the first time she had seen or heard of a situation where the waist of the divine dragon's body was directly flattened. However, this was not the time for her to be in a daze. Seeing that the situation was not looking good, she also transformed into the Moonlight Star Dragon. The power of the moonlight condensed and enveloped her body. Then, the power of the moonlight condensed into an even sharper sword gleam and directly pierced towards the black lava golem who had stood up. The black lava golem stood up and became a huge target in the dense forest. Zhang Yuaning did not need to deliberately aim at it and could accurately make the moonlight sword chi land on the black lava golem. Then, the more powerful moonlight sword chi attacked and caused the black lava golem to suffer serious injuries again. After all, the direct destructive power of the moonlight sword chi was still extremely strong. It was most suitable to be used against such coarse and thick-skinned fellows. Kong Shinmu's devouring power kept devouring the black lava golem's energy. The waist of the black lava golem was directly smashed by the black lava golem, but it was not fatal to him. This was because as the devouring power devoured the black lava golem's energy, Kong Shinmu's resistance to the black lava golem's power was also increasing. The power used by the black rock golem was brute force, the tyrannical brute force that belonged to the rock golem race. After devouring some of the black rock golem's power, Zhang Shenwu had developed some resistance to this brute force. His flattened black lava golem's waist gradually recovered. Then, the devouring power erupted even more intensely. At this moment, the black lava golem raised its twin hammers again and smashed them towards the black dragon that Kong Shinmu had transformed into. Chapter 3809. The black granite being's fists turned into hammers and smashed down heavily on the black dragon. The terrifying force caused the black dragon's body to be flattened once again. However, this time, Zhang Shenwu's injuries were not as severe as the previous time. This was because he had devoured the black granite golem's tyrannical brute force, which had given him some resistance to its brute force. The black granite being's attack did not make Kong Shinmu lose his combat power. Instead, it made him devour the black granite being's energy even more ferociously. In addition, Zhang Yuaning continued to condense Moonlight Sword aura and thrust it at the black granite being. Wounds appeared one after another on the black granite being's body. The earth power condensed in the black granite being and covered all the wounds on its body in an instant. The appearance of the earth power stunned Kong Shinmu. This was because after the wounds were covered, his devouring power was blocked in the black granite being's body. The power that was devoured could not be absorbed into Kong Shinmu's body. This situation surprised Kong Shinmu. He could feel that the devouring power that was intercepted in the black granite being's body did not stop devouring. It was still devouring and weakening the black granite being's energy. However, the power that was devoured could not return to Kong Shinmu's body to restore his energy. Of course, it could not heal his injuries. This shocked Kong Shinmu. He did not expect such a situation to happen after the devouring power was blocked. In this case, there was no need for him to continue clinging onto the black granite being's body. The black dragon swung its tail and its entire body retreated quickly. Kong Shinmu returned to his human form and disappeared into the dense forest. The devouring power that he had left in the black granite being's body was enough to seriously injure the black granite being. He would leave the rest to Zhang Yuaning. The Moonlight Star Dragon suddenly moved. Without Kong Shinmu's black dragon entangling her, Zhang Yuaning could attack more directly and smoothly. This was because she did not need to worry about accidentally injuring Kong Shinmu. The devouring power that Kong Shinmu had left behind was enough to keep the black lava golem busy. At this moment, the Moonlight Star Dragon was waiting for an opportunity to strike. The power of the moonlight condensed into countless sword lights, breaking through the air from all directions. Every ray of moonlight sword light was cold and full of killing intent. The black granite man had nowhere to hide. Although it had forced Kong Shinmu back, it was still injured. The devouring power was still wreaking havoc in its body, constantly weakening its strength and consuming its stamina. In the face of Zhang Yuaning's Moonlight Force Sword Chi, the Black Rock Man curled up into a ball so that he could avoid the Moonlight Force Sword Chi to the greatest extent. When this Black Stone Man stood up, his body was 150 feet tall, but after curling up into a ball, he became a black stone ball that was only 30 feet wide. Most of the Moonlight Sword Chi missed because of this. However, there were still some Moonlight Force Sword Chi that landed directly on the Black Stone Man's body. After discovering that it had curled up, Jiang Yuaning once again condensed the moonlight power. More sword chi descended from the sky, and a murderous aura enveloped the entire place. It had to be said that Jiang Yuaning's attack was extremely fierce. It was completely different from Kong Shinmu's devouring power, and this was under the condition that she had not cultivated any dragon martial technique. If she had cultivated the dragon martial technique, there should be many dragon martial techniques that would be suitable for Jiang Yuaning's moonlight force. However, with Kong Shinmu's devouring power, there would not be many dragon martial techniques that could be used. This was also what Kong Shinmu had been worried about. Even if he was qualified to cultivate the dragon martial technique, he did not know if he would have the dragon martial technique to complement his devouring power. Of course, this could only wait until he was qualified to cultivate the dragon martial technique. If he was eliminated in the demon slaying experience, then it would be useless to think so much. If it was not possible, Kong Shinmu could also cultivate the dragon body tempering strength, as well as those dragon martial techniques that use the divine dragon's body to fight. Generally speaking, there were fewer dragon martial artists who cultivated this type of dragon martial technique, because for dragon martial artists, their own talents were the strongest. Only a small number of dragon martial artists would fight with their physical bodies. Moreover, there were very few who could fight with their physical bodies stronger than using their innate abilities. However, if Kong Shinmu did not have a suitable dragon martial technique to complement his devouring power, he could only cultivate those dragon martial techniques that tempered the strength of the dragon body tempering strength. The moonlight force condensed into sword chi and descended from the sky, covering the entire dense forest. The black granite golem could not dodge at all. There was still the devouring power raging inside its body, and the moonlight force sword chi continued to descend. Under the dual attacks from both inside and outside, the black granite golem felt as if it had fallen into hell, and its whole body was suffering from a terrifying attack. The black granite golem's body was constantly suffering heavy injuries. The moonlight force sword chi pierced into its body, breaking through its surface layer of earth force defense, and once again, its body was riddled with holes. The devouring power that Kong Shinmu had left in its body continued to wreak havoc, constantly devouring the blood and flesh essence in its body. Although it could not be transferred to Kong Shinmu's body, it had indeed greatly weakened the black granite golem. Under the double attacks of Kong Shinmu and Jiang Yuaning, the black granite golem at the fourth heaven of the earth demon had almost no room to resist, and was directly blasted into pieces. The black granite golem's body soon collapsed completely, turning into countless black rocks that fell into the dense forest. It had completely lost its vigorous vitality. Fortunately, I killed it. Kong Shinmu bumped heads with Jiang Yuaning, and then took the black granite golem's demon core. This demon core was worth 4 points, so it was relatively easy to deal with. I'm afraid this is the easiest fourth heaven earth demon for us to deal with. If we encounter other fourth heaven earth demons later, it will definitely not be so easy. Jiang Yuaning said with a solemn expression. Indeed. Kong Shinmu agreed with her because the black granite golem's physical body was definitely extremely strong, but it did not display its full strength just now. It could be seen that the black granite golem was not in its best state. Moreover, Kong Shinmu and Jiang Yuaning's techniques were very coordinated, and the black granite golem was killed by the two of them before it could display its true strength. It was a tragedy. However, such a tragedy happened almost every day in the Sky Drive forest, and it could not be more common. Just as the two of them were about to leave, Kong Shinmu suddenly sensed that something was wrong around him, and there seemed to be a very soft pitter-patter sound. He raised his hand and gestured for Jiang Yuaning to stop talking for the time being. Then, he walked into the dense forest to investigate. This caused Kong Shinmu's expression to become a little strange. Chapter 38:10. Kong Shinmu did not expect that the black granite man was already pregnant. At this moment, there were a few small black granite men in front of him. Each of them was about the size of a piglet. They were walking in the dense forest with difficulty. Before they were fully born, their mothers would have been killed by Kong Shinmu and Jiang Yuaning. These small black granite men did not have much combat power. Even if Kong Shinmu did not care about them, they would not live for long. Do you want to raise them? Jiang Yuaning came over to take a look. She felt that these small black granite men were pitiful, so she asked. Kong Shinmu shook his head. We can't even guarantee our own survival and development. How can we raise them? In the Jiang clan, there were people who chose to raise some demon beasts. Some demon beasts were easier to raise and were mostly used as mounts. There was no need for these demon beasts to help them in battle. As for these small black granite men, other than fighting, they were useless. As mounts, they were not fast. Of course, the most important thing was that Kong Shinmu and Jiang Yuaning were in the process of demon-slaying training. How could they have the time to care about these little guys? Although they were pitiful, these small black granite men could only fend for themselves. Kong Shinmu and Jiang Yuaning would not kill these small black granite men. After all, it was useless to kill them. They did not have the Earth Demon's demon core in their bodies, so they could not add points to the demon-slaying training. The two shook their heads and turned to leave. They were ready to find other Earth Demons to hunt. After all, it was the demon-slaying training period. The two did not want to waste time. Jiang Yuaning's words were just a spur of the moment. She thought about it carefully and knew that it was impossible to raise these small black granite men. To be honest, these small black granite men were quite cute. Each of them was clumsy, but unfortunately, they were useless to Kong Shinmu and Jiang Yuaning. The two of them continued forward. Not long after, they heard a loud noise coming from up ahead, causing the two of them to be on guard. They quickly put the matter of the little black rock golem to the back of their minds and focused all their attention on what was ahead. From the looks of it, there seemed to be a verbal conflict between the two sides of the dragon warriors. It's someone from our Grand Supreme Palace. Jiang Yuaning's expression changed slightly when she heard that. She could tell that one of the two forces arguing in front of her was the dragon martial artist from the Grand Lord's mansion, and it was a 5-man team. That 5-man squad was made up of dragon martial artists who had inherited the blood essence of mortal dragons. Logically speaking, their strength should not be very strong. How could they have come to this area where the 4th layer of earth demons roamed? If they were to encounter a 4th layer earth demon, this team of 5 would probably be completely annihilated. Kong Shinmu and Jiang Yuaning did not act rashly. Instead, they hid to the side and quietly listened to the situation. Soon, they discovered that the person who had a conflict with the Grand Prince's mansion team was Jiang Qingyun from the Jiang Clan East Mansion. Jiang Qingyun was the guy who obtained the blood essence of the true dragon's inheritance. Kong Shinmu remembered him because when Kong Shinmu first obtained the blood essence of the true dragon's inheritance, Jiang Qingyun was the first to mock him, as if he had some grudge with him. But in fact, Kong Shinmu had nothing to do with this guy. Obviously, Jiang Qingyun was jealous of Kong Shinmu's limelight in the past. So when Kong Shinmu hit rock bottom, he couldn't wait to step on Kong Shinmu. This kind of attitude made Kong Shinmu have no good impression of him. At this moment, Jiang Qingyun brought 2 other dragon martial artists who were followers of the true dragon's inheritance and had a conflict with the 5-man squad from the Grand Lord's mansion. It seemed to be because of an earth demon prey. At the beginning, the 5-man squad from the Grand Lord's mansion found a lone 4th layer earth demon. Halfway through the battle, Jiang Qingyun brought people over and forcefully snatched it away. The earth demon's monster core was also taken. At that time, most of the 5-man squad from the Grand Lord's mansion were already seriously injured. It was already difficult for them to deal with the 4th layer earth demon, but in the end, it was snatched away. One could imagine the resentment in their hearts. But to Jiang Qingyun, this kind of behavior was nothing. After all, there was no rule in the demon-slaying experiential training that prohibited people from snatching other people's prey. It just prohibited people from killing each other. Jiang Qingyun did not attack the 5-man squad from the Grand Lord's mansion, so why should he be afraid? Therefore, Jiang Qingyun brought 2 people with him and directly snatched away the monster core of the 4th layer earth demon. Then, the 5-man squad from the Grand Lord's mansion risked their serious injuries to stop them from leaving. They would only let them go if they handed over the monster core of the 4th layer earth demon. Through some gaps in the dense forest, Kong Shinmu looked at the scene and found that among the 5-man squad from the Grand Lord's mansion, one of them had actually advanced to the 2nd layer of the Dragon Ascension realm. No wonder this 5-man squad dared to come to the place where the 4th layer earth demon roams. But after encountering the 4th layer earth demon, they were all seriously injured, and in the end, the spoils of war were still snatched away by Jiang Qingyun. Kong Shinmu had a rough idea of the cause and effect of the scene. From the first layer to the second layer of the Dragon Ascension realm, the strength would increase a lot, and the innate talent of the dragon martial artist would also be enhanced. This gave them the courage to go deep into the area where the fourth layer Earth Demon roamed. It turned out that with a dragon martial artist at the second layer of the Dragon Ascension realm, they could indeed kill the fourth layer Earth Demon, but they also suffered a lot of losses. Without exception, all 5 members of the squad were seriously injured. At this moment, the youth at the second layer of the Dragon Ascension realm, with a seriously injured body, directly grabbed Jiang Qingyun's heel, not letting him leave. This caused Jiang Qingyun and his 2 lackeys to constantly curse. "Quickly let go, brat. That Earth Demon's monster core is something we obtained. Since it's in our hands, it's impossible to spit it out. If you don't let go, I'll inform our tribe elders to come over," Jiang Qingyun said fiercely. Every dragon martial artist who participated in the demon slaying training would receive a flaming explosion scroll before entering the sky-driving forest. They would also receive a firework bomb. This firework bomb was red in color, and once it was released, the nearby Jiang clan patrollers would quickly rush over. The meaning of the firework bomb was that someone had attacked their own people and needed support. Without a doubt, if Jiang Qingyun were to release the firework bomb now, the Jiang clan patrollers would definitely treat the youth from the Grand Lord's mansion as a criminal who had attacked their own people and would punish him. Chapter 38:11. Kong Shinmu and Jiang Yuaning hid in the shadows. Seeing the situation, they did not know what to do. The Earth Demon's core was in Jiang Qingyun's hands. It was impossible to get him to spit it out. Since that was the case, there was no need to continue. If this continued, the one to suffer would be the youth from the Grand Faction. He dares to bully the people of our Grand Faction. How dare he? Jiang Yuaning gritted her teeth. Her heart was filled with anger. She did not expect Jiang Qingyun to be so shameless. He took advantage of the opportunity to snatch away the Earth Demon's core. But there were many shameless people, including Jiang Cheng, who had attacked Kong Shinmu. That thunder-slaying true dragon was even more shameless. Not only did he want to snatch the core, he even wanted to kill Kong Shinmu. Fortunately, Kong Shinmu and Jiang Yuaning were strong. Otherwise, they would have been killed by Jiang Cheng. Now, there was another Jiang Qingyun. But compared to Jiang Cheng, Jiang Qingyun's actions were slightly better. At least he did not want to kill the 5 people from the Grand Faction. But it was also possible that he did not dare to attack them because they were a 5-man team. Back then, Jiang Cheng had attacked Kong Shinmu because he was alone. Even if he died, it would not cause too much of a stir in the Jiang tribal clan. But now, it was a 5-man team. Although they were only inheritors of the mortal dragon blood essence, they had elders. If the 5 of them died, the Jiang tribal clan would definitely investigate. Because of this, Jiang Qingyun held back. From this point, it could be seen that Jiang Qingyun and Jiang Cheng were the same kind of people. It's best to remind him to let it go. Kong Shinmu frowned and said softly to Jiang Yuaning, "Since Jiang Qingyun has treated our Grand Faction this way, we can give him a tooth for a tooth, and give him a taste of his own medicine. How about this? I'll hide in the shadows and follow them. Once they encounter any demon beast, I'll take the core away." "Sure, but you must be careful." Jiang Yuaning nodded, but she was still worried about Kong Shinmu. "Don't worry, I'm just trying to steal the demonic core. They won't dare to do anything to me. Even if they do, I might not necessarily lose to them." Kong Shinmu was now very confident. After devouring Jiang Cheng's Thunderslayer True Dragon, his strength had at least doubled. If he were to face a true dragon again, his chances of winning would be much higher. "All right, let's get moving then. Shall we meet here at night? I'll lead the 5 of them to kill some demon beasts first. It should be more efficient," Jiang Yuaning asked. We'll meet up here at night. We'll kill the Earth Demon together." Kong Shinmu nodded. A dragon martial artist's memory was definitely very good. They could remember all the paths they had taken in a day. Therefore, if Kong Shinmu and Jiang Yuaning were to separate now, it would be very easy for them to meet at the same place in the evening as long as there were no accidents. "Stop!" Jiang Yuaning called out and took a step forward at the same time. Her slender figure appeared in front of Jiang Qingyun and the others. Jiang Qingyun's eyes narrowed slightly when he saw Jiang Yuaning. He was a little surprised, and there was a playful look in his eyes. It's your people who should stop. Zhang Yuaning, why don't you take a look at what your people are doing? Zhang Qingyun said playfully. At this moment, his legs were being hugged tightly by the young man from the Grand Prince Palace. If it was just an ordinary Earth Demon Core, they would have given up on it. However, this fourth Heaven Earth Demon Core was very meaningful to them because it was the first Earth Demon they had killed together. Moreover, they were all seriously injured because of it. Who would be willing to let their hard-earned spoils of war be snatched away just like that? The young man from the Grand Prince Palace finally heaved a sigh of relief when he saw Zhang Yuaning. He was so tired that he couldn't even speak. He could only cling tightly to Zhang Qingyun's legs, not letting him go. All right, Zhang Haixing, let go. It's just a monster core of a fourth-layer Earth Demon. There's no need to go to such lengths. Zhang Yuaning sighed and walked up to the young man from the Grand Prince's mansion. The young man in the second layer of the Dragon Ascension realm was called Zhang Haixing. His father had a certain level of strength in the Zhang clan. Because of this, he was able to obtain many elixirs and step into the second layer of the Dragon Ascension realm. At this moment, when he heard Zhang Yuaning's words, he almost doubted his own ears. Zhang Yuaning actually wanted him to let go? Just a fourth-layer Earth Demon's demon core? But before he could say anything, Zhang Yuaning whispered in his ear, "Let go first. I've already thought of a way to deal with Zhang Qingyun. Trust me." Usually in the Grand Prince Palace, Zhang Yuaning could be said to be the most authoritative person. Now that she said it, it was quite believable. Zhang Haixing trusted Zhang Yuaning very much. After hearing her words, he finally let go of his tightly clasped hands without any hesitation. Haha, at least you know what's good for you. Seeing this, Zhang Qingyun loosened his legs and hopped 2 steps on the spot. He then turned around and waved his hand. Then I'll take my leave. Zhang Yuaning, I wish the Grand Prince's palace good results in this demon-slaying experience. Haha. There was a hint of sarcasm in his words. Without a doubt, no one thought that the Grand Prince Palace would do well this time. However, Zhang Yuaning was now sure that in this demon-slaying experience, the Grand Prince Palace would either be first or second. It was all because of Kong Shinmu's existence. Even though Kong Shinmu had only inherited the blood essence of a mortal dragon, the devouring power was too special. Its special effects sometimes even surpassed that of a heavenly dragon's inheritor. At least, a heavenly dragon's inheritor needed rest. He couldn't hunt earth demons day and night, but she and Kong Shinmu could. Zhang Qingyun left. Zhang Haixing struggled to stand up with the support of a large tree. He looked at Zhang Yuaning in confusion and struggled to ask softly, "Yuaning, why did you let him leave? Didn't you see that the 5 of us were seriously injured in order to deal with that earth demon?" The demon core was taken by Zhang Qingyun. "We can't accept this." "Don't worry, Kong Shinmu has already followed them. As long as they hunt down all the earth demons' demon cores, they will be taken by Kong Shinmu. This time, their East Prefecture can forget about getting a good ranking." Zhang Yuaning's eyes were cold. Chapter 38:12. Seeing that Zhang Yuaning trusted Kong Shinmu so much, Zhang Haixing felt that it was absurd. Did he hear it wrong? Let Kong Shinmu, that kid, track down Zhang Qingyun and take away all the earth demons monster dawn that Zhang Qingyun had obtained? Kong Shinmu, didn't he just obtain the inheritance blood essence of an ordinary dragon? Although I won't look down on him, it's too difficult for him to take away the prey from Zhang Qingyun's hands. Zhang Haixing said in a deep voice, "Could it be that Kong Shinmu has already stepped into the 3rd layer of Dragon Ascension realm?" After thinking about it, he could only think of this possibility. After all, Zhang Haixing had reached the 2nd layer of Dragon Ascension realm, so it was normal for a genius like Kong Shinmu to reach the 3rd layer of Dragon Ascension realm. However, he was wrong. Zhang Yuaning shook her head and said to him, "You can rest assured, Kong Shinmu is not as weak as you think. He has not reached the 3rd layer of Dragon Ascension realm, not even the 2nd layer of Dragon Ascension realm, but I fought side by side with him the day before, so I know very well what level he can reach, so you can rest assured. Now recuperate. Can you still fight?" "I brought healing medicinal pills. In a little more than 2 hours, everyone should be able to recover more than half." Zhang Haixing nodded. Since Zhang Yuaning had said that she believed in Kong Shinmu, he did not dwell on this matter. Now that they had met up with Zhang Yuaning, There was no doubt that they could continue to hunt more earth demons. Although he was unwilling to let Jiang Qingyun go, the most important thing was obviously to hunt more earth demons and obtain more earth demons Monster Dawn. Only in this way, the people of the Grand Prince's mansion could cultivate a stronger dragon martial skill. As for Kong Shinmu, Jiang Haixing really did not have any hope. To be able to delay Jiang Qingyun and let them get one less Earth Demon's Monster Dawn is already a great fortune. As for letting him snatch the Monster Dawn from Jiang Qingyun, how is that possible? Of course, Jiang Haixing didn't say this out loud. He just hid it in his heart. His father was, after all, an elder of the Jiang clan. For this demon-slaying experience, he had prepared a lot of things. He had brought a lot of healing elixirs. Now, it was just the right time for the team to consume them. After about 2 hours, they would be able to recover about 70 to 80% of their battle strength. Seeing Jiang Haixing and the rest consume healing elixirs, Jiang Yuaning felt that this situation was a little strange. The corners of her mouth curled up slightly. She recalled that when she was with Kong Shinmu, she didn't need healing elixirs. Kong Shinmu only needed to use his devouring power to devour the power of the earth in the earth phase demon core to heal and recover. This ability was really heaven-defying. Anyway, Jiang Yuaning had never heard of the existence of a dragon martial artist with such an ability. On the other side, Jiang Haixing and Jiang Yuaning formed a new team and prepared to hunt the earth fae for a day. As for Kong Shinmu, he followed closely behind Jiang Qingyun and the other two. They were about 100 feet away from each other, so that Jiang Qingyun wouldn't notice them. In the jungle, Kong Shinmu was already very familiar with it. It was not something a newbie like Jiang Qingyun could compare with. Jiang Qingyun had a strong background in the Jiang clan. His father was one of the Jiang clan's elders, so he had a lot of spiritual elixirs and healing elixirs. However, it was more difficult for a true dragon martial artist to improve his martial arts realm compared to an ordinary dragon. Therefore, Jiang Qingyun had not broken through to the second level of the Dragon Ascension realm. When Kong Shinmu thought of this, he felt that there was something wrong with him. According to reason, he should have improved faster than others, but now he didn't feel the slightest improvement. Not to mention a breakthrough, there was no improvement at all. This made him a little anxious. Could it be that it was more difficult for him to improve his realm than others? Did this mean that the Black Dragon's inherited blood essence was more powerful than other sky dragons? Kong Shinmu didn't have any expectations for this. His mind wasn't on this. He had to keep a close eye on Jiang Qingyun in front of him, and he couldn't let him discover any clues. His first attack had to be fast, accurate, and ruthless. He had to succeed in one strike. Jiang Qingyun and his two lackeys really didn't realize that they were being followed by Kong Shinmu. They were proud of the fact that they had just snatched a 4th-level Earth Phase monster core, and even Jiang Yuaning had appeared and let him leave. Boss, that Jiang Yuaning couldn't have taken a fancy to you, right? Haha. That's right. Isn't it rumored that she likes to meddle in other people's business? As long as someone bullies someone from the Grand Supreme Palace, she won't let them off easily? Now she's letting us go without saying a word. Haha. His two lackeys kept flattering Jiang Qingyun, which made him enjoy it very much. How would I know? But even if that girl has taken a fancy to me, there's no way I'll accept her. My father found me an elder's daughter from a neighboring tribe. I heard that she's as beautiful as a fairy. Tessere. As Jiang Qingyun spoke, he felt that this world was very wonderful. He couldn't wait to meet the elder's daughter from the neighboring tribe. Marriage is one thing, but if Jiang Yuaning really has taken a fancy to you, boss, there's no harm in playing around. Haha, how could ordinary people like us have such a chance? One of the lackeys said flatteringly. Kong Shinmu had a ridiculous feeling as he listened to their conversation. Where did these three guys get their confidence from? How could they think that Jiang Yuaning would fall for Jiang Qingyun? It was simply inexplicable. Weren't they feeling a little too good about themselves? Kong Shinmu didn't think too much about it. He followed them closely and continued forward. Soon, another beast nest appeared in front of them. This time, there was a 4th-layer Earth Demon and 3 3rd-layer Earth Demons. This situation made Kong Shinmu's heart skip a beat. How would Jiang Qingyun deal with such a situation? A 4th-layer Earth Demon was enough to make an ordinary true dragon inheritance dragon martial artist choke. Jiang Qingyun would probably be able to deal with a 4th-layer Earth Demon at best. As for his two lackeys, It would be extremely difficult for them to even deal with a third-layer Earth demon. Kong Shinmu didn't act rashly. In any case, he was only a bystander. It could be said that he was the Oriole hiding behind the mantis. Regardless of whether the other party could deal with the situation, it wouldn't affect Kong Shinmu at all. On the contrary, Kong Shinmu hoped that Jiang Qingyun's group of 3 would perish together with the Earth demons. This would be the best scenario. Of course, Jiang Qingyun might have some other means to deal with the 3 Earth demons. Anyway, Kong Shinmu only needed to be ready to take action at any time and snatch the Earth demon's demon core. Kong Shinmu carefully observed the Earth demons. This was a tribe of lynx demonic beasts. They should be called the thorn lynx. They moved extremely fast and could sneak attack targets in the dense forest. They were extremely ferocious when hunting, and their prey were other similarly ferocious demonic beasts. It was obvious that their combat strength was extremely strong. But now, the Bramble Lynx tribe had just finished their hunt and had just eaten their fill. They were all resting leisurely in the forest. Chapter 38:13. In the Sky Herald Forest, Kong Shinmu was hiding in the dense forest, constantly watching the battle through the gaps between the leaves. The navy blue blade dragon that Jiang Qingyun had transformed into was indeed very strong. The navy blue dragon bone blades on its back each had a frighteningly sharp aura. In the battle, they constantly blocked the sharp front claws of the Thorns Lynx leader. In the rapid confrontation again and again, the Thorns Lynx leader was actually at a disadvantage. Obviously, the advantage of the navy blue blade dragon was somewhat obvious. The navy blue dragon bone blades on its back played a great role in the battle. Most importantly, the 2 navy blue dragon bone blades on the dragon's tail would pose a great threat to the Thorns Lynx leader every time the dragon swung its tail, forcing it to either give up on attacking, dodge, or be seriously injured by the 2 blades. The Thorns Lynx was a demon beast race. They were flexible, but their physical strength was lacking. In the process of battle, as long as they could dodge an attack, they would have to dodge. Otherwise, it was very likely that they would be seriously injured because of a moment of carelessness. For the Thorns Lynx, it was impossible for them to use the method of trading life for life. After all, they were very flexible. If they gave up this opportunity to attack, there would be a next opportunity soon. Once they were injured, it would lead to a decline in their overall condition, causing the possibility of failure in the end. Under the powerful pressure of the navy blue blade dragon, the Bramble Lynx chieftain dodged again and again. Gradually, Jiang Qingyun found a flaw and the navy blue dragon bone blade on his dragon tail swept out, hitting the belly of the Bramble Lynx chieftain. This attack basically established the overall victory. It had to be said that Jiang Qingyun's combat talent was still very outstanding. When the Thorns Lynx leader was dodging, an ordinary person might not necessarily be able to catch it. Once this opportunity was missed, there might not be another opportunity. In such a battle, opportunities were fleeting. Not to mention, the Thorns Lynx leader was a forest demon hunter with extremely rich combat experience. It was not easy to force it to reveal a flaw. Even if it was only a small flaw, it had to be 100% grasped. The 2 navy blue dragonbone blades pierced deeply into the belly of the thorny lynx leader. Blood gushed out and instantly spilled over the dense forest grass. The thorn bobcat leader felt the pain and turned around to jump away. It magically flipped its body in the air, showing how agile it was. It looked like it couldn't beat Jiang Qingyun and was about to slip away. But how could Jiang Qingyun let it go? The navy blue dragon quickly moved forward in the jungle, trying to catch up with the thorny lynx leader. But at this time, the 2 sides had been fighting for a long time. Although Jiang Qingyun had a big advantage, his 2 subordinates were in a very bad situation, especially the clear wave water dragon, whose body was already full of wounds. If it weren't for the clear ripple water dragon's innate ability to slowly heal itself, it would have been killed by the thorn lynx. Seeing that the thorn lynx leader was at a disadvantage in the confrontation between Jiang Qingyun and the thorn lynx leader, the 2 third-layer thorn lynx earth demons turned around and chased after the navy blue blade dragon. No matter what, they had to stall Jiang Qingyun and not let him chase after the thorn lynx leader. It was impossible for Jiang Qingyun's 2 subordinates to turn around and help. They could only watch as the 2 third-layer thorn lynx caught up to Jiang Qingyun and blocked him in the jungle. Although it wasn't too difficult for Jiang Qingyun to deal with 2 third-layer earth demons, it would still take a lot of time. In this period of time, the thorn lynx leader would have already escaped. This made Jiang Qingyun gnash his teeth, somewhat resentful that iron didn't meet his expectations. Truly trash, you can't even stall 2/3 layer earth demons. Jiang Qingyun clenched his teeth. He could only deal with the 2/3 layer earth demons first because the opponent's attacks were extremely fierce. They came from 2 directions. If he ignored them, the navy blue blade dragon would definitely be injured, and the injuries would not be light. Although it was a true dragon, the navy blue blade dragon's body wasn't particularly tyrannical. If the enemy hit its vitals, it would still be seriously injured. The true dragon roared and swept its tail. The 2/3 layer thorn lynx easily dodged in a flash and jumped behind the navy blue blade dragon. The 2 thorn lynx attacked the side of the navy blue blade dragon's body, wanting to use their sharp claws to stab into the navy blue blade dragon's body. You want to injure me? Dream on! Jiang Qingyun coldly snorted. He saw the navy blue blade dragon's body spin in midair, bringing with it a wave of navy blue blade light. It actually revolved around the dragon's body, forcing the 2 thorn lynx to retreat. If one wanted to injure the navy blue blade dragon in this state, they would have to risk being stabbed by the navy blue dragon bone blade. Otherwise, it would be impossible for the thorn lynx group to do so. In this battle from the start, the navy azure blade dragon had a huge advantage. On the other hand, if it was a demonic beast like the 5-colored scorpion, even if it was at the 3rd layer, the navy azure blade dragon wouldn't dare to casually kill it. The multicolored brightly scorpion's poison was extremely strong. If the navy azure blade dragon were to cut open its body, the poison would explode out, easily poisoning the navy azure blade dragon. After the navy azure blade dragon was poisoned, he would be the same as the other dragon martial artists. Unless he took an antidote pill, it would be impossible for him to survive. Therefore, although Jiang Qingyun seemed rash, he was actually very meticulous. The opponents he chose were all suitable for him. Once he encountered a troublesome opponent, he would definitely not rush in recklessly. The navy blue blade dragon began to fight against the 2 level 3 bramble lynx earth demons. In a battle of this level, the 2nd layer earth beasts and the 1st layer earth beasts had no room to intervene. Even if they were affected, they would either die or be crippled. Therefore, the other bramble lynx could only leave this area and completely disperse. And at this time, Kong Shinmu's opportunity had arrived. The heavily injured bramble lynx leader had already escaped a distance away, and it just happened to be running towards Kong Shinmu's direction. The navy blue blade dragon that Jiang Qingyun had transformed into was being held back by the other 2 bramble lynx. It was difficult for him to chase after the bramble lynx leader. Of course, Kong Shinmu wouldn't let go of such an opportunity. He watched as the bramble lynx leader ran out of the forest. Its speed was extremely fast, and fresh blood flowed out of its stomach, constantly sprinkling into the forest. Suddenly, a black dragon rushed out from the side and quickly bit the bramble lynx leader. This was the black dragon that Kong Shinmu had transformed into. Under the circumstances of a sneak attack, he struck the opponent's vitals, and the dragon's teeth firmly embedded into the opponent's neck. Chapter 38:14. Even Kong Shinmu, who didn't have a good impression of Jiang Qingyun, couldn't help but admire the timing of the 3's sneak attack. The bramble bobcats were caught off guard and were attacked from 3 directions by Jiang Qingyun's group of 3. Apart from Jiang Qingyun's 2 subordinates, both of them transformed into a 30-meter-long mortal dragon and pounced towards the 2/3 layer bramble bobcats. As for Jiang Qingyun himself, he didn't transform into a dragon. Instead, his whole body emitted a navy blue color, which then condensed into countless navy blue saber lights that fell on one of the thorny lynx earth demons. Jiang Qingyun's target wasn't the 4th layer earth demon, but the 3rd layer earth demon beside it. He knew very well that if he attacked the 4th layer earth demon with a sneak attack, he wouldn't be able to kill it instantly. But if he directly attacked the 3rd layer earth demon, it would be very easy to deal with it. In any case, it was obvious that the other side had lost members. Furthermore, the following battle would be much easier. It was better to break 1 finger than to injure 10 fingers. Jiang Qingyun clearly understood this principle very well. Quite smart. No wonder they can do so well in such a deep region. Unfortunately, these thorny lynx's demon cores will all belong to me. An ominous glint flashed in Kong Shinmu's eyes. He recalled how Jiang Qingyun's trio had ridiculed Jiang Yuaning and the other dragon warriors of the Grand Supreme Palace. He didn't have the slightest hesitation about what to do next. Since Jiang Qingyun liked to snatch other people's spoils of war, Kong Shinmu would let him have a taste of having his spoils of war taken away by others. Because the Bramble Lynx tribe was very powerful, with 1/4 layer Earth Demon and 3/3 layer Earth Demons, even if Jiang Qingyun succeeded in his sneak attack, he wouldn't have the time to retrieve the Earth Demon's monster core. This was Kong Shinmu's opportunity. The moment Jiang Qingyun made his move, Kong Shinmu was already on guard, ready to act at any time. Soon, Jiang Qingyun's sky full of navy blue saber light fell, and sure enough, the sleepy and unvigilant 3rd level Earth Demon Bramble's bobcat was cut in half. The Bramble bobcat's blood splattered as it lost its life. But at this moment, the 4th layer Earth Demon level Bramble bobcat leader had already reacted. It let out a sharp hiss, and its whole body was as agile as a bolt of lightning. Its body under its gray fur instantly streaked across the dense forest and pounced on Jiang Qingyun. Jiang Qingyun immediately reacted, or rather, he was already prepared for it. He quickly retreated backward to avoid the attack of the Thorn Bobcat leader. It depends. At this moment, Kong Shinmu saw an opportunity. He quickly rushed out of the dense forest and arrived at the foot of the Thorn Bobcat that Jiang Qingyun had killed in 2 or 3 steps. He pulled the corpse away. The direction in which Kong Shinmu appeared was extremely tricky. He rushed through the dense forest next to him. Coupled with his extremely fast speed, the battle was extremely stalemate. As soon as he made his move, he got the corpse of the Thorn Bobcat, and Jiang Qingyun and the others did not see its face clearly. Who is it? Seeing that his spoils of war were taken away, Jiang Qingyun suddenly cursed. He was just dodging the attack of the Thorn Bobcat leader. He really did not expect that someone would come out to snatch his spoils of war. As for Jiang Qingyun's 2 followers, the situation was even more urgent, and it was even more impossible for them to notice Kong Shinmu's face. The 2 subordinates of Jiang Qingyun were both inheritors of the blood essence of the mortal dragon, but their combat strength was not as good as Jiang Shinwu's. Each of them was facing a thorny bobcat at the 3rd layer of the Earth Demon realm, and they were surrounded by danger. Even though they had transformed into dragons, they could not confront their opponents head-on, and could only keep dodging their opponents' attacks. The speed of the thorn bobcats was extremely fast. Although their bodies were relatively thin, their claws were extremely sharp. There was no doubt that these thorn bobcats' claws were strengthened by the power of the earth. Every time they attacked, they could always leave a deep bloody mark on the bodies of Jiang Qingyun's 2 followers who had transformed into dragons. One of them was a green dragon with a body like a rock, known as the Emerald Rock Dragon. It was relatively cumbersome, but had a strong defense, so the situation was better. The other was a sky blue clear wave water dragon. Although it was flexible, it was far worse than the thorn bobcats. In addition, the clear wave water dragon's defense was not strong, and its body was already full of bloody marks. The 2 sides had just started fighting, and the situation was already like this. Kong Shinmu felt that these 2 guys would definitely not be able to last more than a quarter of an hour. However, this had nothing to do with Kong Shinmu. After snatching the corpse of the thorn bobcat, he carefully took out the monster core, and then immediately changed his position and hid in another dense forest. Because he discovered that although Jiang Qingyun did not notice who had stolen the corpse of the Thorn Lynx and was being held back by the Thorn Lynx leader, there were other Thorn Lynx Earth Demons that had noticed the situation here. The monster core of the Earth Demon was not only useful for dragon warriors like Kong Shinmu. For the Earth Demons themselves, it was also extremely important. In the sky-herding forest, there would often be some Earth Demons fighting with each other and then snatching the monster core in each other's body. As long as they absorbed the power of the earth in the monster core of other Earth Demons, they could gradually improve their realm. This was one of the ways for them to increase their strength. Therefore, when Jiang Shinwu dragged the corpse of the thorny bobcat away, many 2nd and 1st layer Earth Fey bobcats tiptoed over, wanting to get a piece of the pie. Unfortunately, these Earth Fey were relatively weak in the pack, so they behaved cautiously. By the time they rushed to the corpse of the thorn bobcat, Kong Shinmu had already taken away the monster core and changed his hiding place, which made these thorn bobcats gnash their teeth in anger. Unfortunately, their current situation was very bad, and they were too lazy to pay attention to Kong Shinmu. In the field, although Jiang Qingyun was angry, he quickly turned into a navy blue true dragon with a body of 300 feet long, full of a sense of awe-inspiring oppression, and fought with the 4th layer thorn bobcat leader. For the time being, He didn't have time to care about who snatched the corpse of the thorn bobcat. The most important thing was to kill the guy in front of him. He knew very well that if he was delayed, his 2 followers would be in danger of dying. Navy Blue Blade Dragon. The true dragon inheritance blood essence that Jiang Qingyun had obtained was a navy blue saber dragon. It was a blue divine dragon that was 300 feet long. On the dragon's back were 16 navy blue dragon bone sabers. Each saber blade shone with a navy blue killing intent, bringing with it a terrifying aura. The sky-swallowing record was updated. Chapter 38:15. Just like that, a 4th layer bramble lynx was killed by Kong Shin-mu. The devouring power surged into the lynx's body, continuously devouring its flesh and blood essence into the black dragon's body. The lynx, which had already been seriously injured by Jiang Qingyun, didn't last long. After struggling for a moment, it lost all signs of life. Kong Shin-mu didn't hesitate. After extracting the demon core from the lynx's body, he returned to his human form and continued to hide in the dense forest. Of course, he couldn't just leave like that. In any case, Jiang Qingyun still didn't know who was secretly following them and stealing their prey, so Kong Shin-mu naturally had to continue. If he didn't steal more of the lynx's demon core, how could he face the dragon warrior Jiang Haixing of the Grand Prince Mansion? Although Kong Shin-mu didn't know Jiang Haixing before, he was still a member of the Grand Prince Mansion. The demon core he obtained represented the Grand Prince Mansion's points. Jiang Qingyun's stealing had already harmed Kong Shin-mu's interests. If he didn't respond, wouldn't he be too weak? In any case, Jiang Shenwu would never be willing to let the Grand Prince's palace fall into the bottom 3 during this demon-slaying expedition. They had to at least be in 2nd place. Furthermore, he wanted to surpass the northern residence that Jiang Liuxue was in. Only by getting 1st place in the demon-slaying training would the dragon warriors of the Grand Prince Mansion be able to cultivate the highest grade of dragon martial skills. Only then would Kong Shin-mu be able to rush to a higher level. His current foundation was too weak. If he couldn't cultivate the highest grade of dragon martial skills, how could he compete with the other dragon warriors in the future? If he wanted to improve the grade and size of his black dragon heritage blood essence, he needed to devour the divine dragon heritage blood essence of other dragon warriors. Since Kong Shin-mu had obtained the black dragon's devouring power, he was destined to walk this path. Kong Shin-mu continued to hide in the Heaven Drive forest. On the other side, Jiang Qingyun transformed into a navy blue saber dragon and quickly killed the remaining 2 3rd-layer Thorns Lynx Earth demons. He saved his 2 subordinates and gave them 2 healing pills for them to consume. Kong Shin-mu couldn't obtain the beast cores of these 2 thorny bobcats because he had just killed the thorny bobcat leader and obtained the beast core of the 4th-layer Earth demon. In any case, I still have time to play with them. I'll put these 2 aside for now. Kong Shin-mu secretly observed the situation. Jiang Qingyun did not suffer any injuries, nor did he lose much of his strength. However, his 2 followers had suffered serious injuries. If they wanted to continue, they would have to rest for at least 2 hours. During this period of time, Jiang Qingyun naturally didn't dare to casually leave. Otherwise, his 2 followers wouldn't just be injured. It had to be known that there were dangers everywhere in the Heaven Drive forest. Once they lost Jiang Qingyun's protection, the 2 who were taking healing pills to recuperate would most likely be targeted by various demonic beasts and die without a burial place. Therefore, Jiang Qingyun could only stay behind while cursing and being vigilant of the surroundings. He was naturally unhappy that the thorny bobcat leader had run away, but he definitely wouldn't be able to catch it now. There was no need to worry about the beast core. In any case, it wasn't particularly difficult for him to deal with a 4th-layer Earth demon. There was no need to risk the lives of his subordinates. His followers were still very useful to him. He didn't want to lose them just like that. For the next 2 hours, Kong Shin-mu didn't appear. Instead, he hid to the side, constantly observing Jiang Qingyun's actions. Since he was going to snatch food from the dragon's mouth, he naturally had to observe his opponent's every move. After a certain period of observation, Kong Shin-mu could understand a lot about Jiang Qingyun, such as his personality, patience, and so on. In these 2 hours, Jiang Qingyun had cursed his 2 subordinates at least 100 times. It could be seen that this person's temper was quite violent. This was a relatively favorable situation for Kong Shin-mu, because the more violent the opponent was, the more likely it was that he would ignore certain things due to anger. This made it so that even if Kong Shinmu revealed some clues, the opponent wouldn't necessarily discover it was him. Of course, being violent didn't mean being careless. Kong Shinmu couldn't be careless because of this. When Jiang Qingyun's two subordinates finished healing their injuries, the three finally set off again. Soon, they arrived near the corpse of the third-layer Thorns Bobcat Earth Demon that Kong Shinmu had dragged away for the first time. Jiang Qingyun couldn't help but curse inwardly. If I find out who that guy is, I'll definitely make him die a horrible death. Jiang Qingyun really didn't expect that someone would dare to snatch such an Earth Demon's monster core from his hands. Obviously, only he was qualified to snatch it from others. Jiang Shenwu followed closely behind him, but when he heard Jiang Qingyun's words, he thought to himself, even if I appeared in front of him now and told him that I was the one who took the Yao core, would Jiang Qingyun really dare to kill me? After all, not everyone was as deranged as Jiang Cheng. Before making a move against a dragon martial artist, everyone would carefully consider the pros and cons. However, Kong Shinmu's next action had to be more covert. After all, after the first time, the other party would definitely be vigilant. If Kong Shinmu continued to act rashly like before, his identity would definitely be discovered by the other party. Although it didn't matter if his identity was discovered, if the other party knew that it was Kong Shinmu who was hiding in the dark, they would specifically guard against him, making it more difficult for him to act. Therefore, now Kong Shinmu had a plan in mind. He was no longer simply tracking like before because it was too passive. If Jiang Qingyun and the others' next battle was particularly smooth, he would certainly not have any chance to snatch the monster core. In this case, Kong Shinmu had to create conditions to make the next battle of Jiang Qingyun and the others not smooth. In the Sky Herald Forest, every few dozen miles was the territory of a demonic beast tribe. Soon, Jiang Qingyun and the others left the territory of the Thorny Lynx and went to the territory of the next Earth Demon. This area belonged to a flying demonic beast tribe. When Jiang Qingyun and the others entered this area, there were already many flying demonic beasts alarmed from the trees and flew toward the area. These flying demonic beasts were not strong, but it was obvious that the strongest flying demonic beasts must be in the center of this area. If someone intruded into this area, all the flying demon beasts would know about it. The flying demon beasts in this area didn't only have one race, but were divided into several types. It was unknown how many flying demon beasts at the fourth layer of the Earth Demon realm were in this area. Seeing the other party step into this area, Kong Shinmu quietly left to the side. The plan he had just thought of could almost be implemented. Chapter 38:16. Luring. After entering the territory of the flying demonic beasts, Jiang Qingyun and company would not be able to escape in a short period of time. There would definitely be a bloody battle. As for Kong Shinmu, he did not hide in a corner and waited for an opportunity. Instead, he headed towards another demonic beast area. His plan was to lure the earth demons in that demonic beast area over, and have them join forces with the flying demonic beasts to attack Jiang Qingyun and company. Since Jiang Qingyun's navy blue saber dragon was powerful and could deal with a fourth-layer earth demon without any pressure, then he would deal with two. In any case, it would be very difficult for Jiang Shenwu to obtain any results just by waiting for an opportunity to move. It would be better to carry out such a plan once and see how effective it was. He believed that when Jiang Qingyun and the other two faced danger, they would definitely value their own lives the most, so he did not have to worry about them dying inside. At most, they would crush the explosion scroll and let the nearby experts of the Jiang clan come to their rescue. This way, the three of them would lose the qualifications to continue their demon-slaying training, and all the earth demon cores they obtained would not be counted as a result. For Kong Shinmu, this was good news no matter what. Kong Shinmu quickly traversed through the Sky Herald Forest and quickly arrived at the edge of the neighboring demonic beast area. Through the aura, he discovered that this place belonged to the Backthorn Boar demonic beast's territory. This type of demonic beast was extremely irascible, so it was perfect for Kong Shinmu to carry out his plan. If it were a fox or a lynx, or a cunning and cautious demonic beast, it would not be easy for Kong Shinmu to lure them to other places. But since it was a Backthorn Boar, there was no problem at all. Kong Shinmu did not find any Earth Demon level Backthorn Boar, but he quickly found two ordinary Backthorn Boar demonic beasts that had not reached the Earth Demon level. Although they looked ferocious, they were definitely not a match for Kong Shinmu in a fight. Jiang Shenwu directly leaped towards the two backbone porcupine demonic beasts and dashed out of the forest, directly transforming into his black dragon form. The 150-meter-long black dragon instantly flew through the dense forest and bit down on a long-back thorn boar. Its devouring power surged out and violently devoured the long-back thorn boar's flesh and blood essence. It had almost no ability to resist. This kind of ordinary demon beast could not withstand Kong Shinmu's attack at all. In the blink of an eye, the thorny-back pig had already lost its life. The other long-back thorn hog originally wanted to rush over, but seeing that Kong Shinmu was really too strong, it turned around and ran away without thinking, disappearing into the dense forest in an instant. Kong Shinmu did not chase after it. Of course, if he wanted to chase, he could easily catch up with it and kill it, but there was no need. He still had to rely on this long-back thorn boar to send a message. Sure enough, soon, accompanied by the howling of several wild boars, several long-back thorn boars appeared around Kong Shinmu. Among these long-back thorn boars, the strongest one was at the second layer of the earth demon level. When it came over and saw the black dragon form, it immediately became a little afraid. Generally speaking, ordinary dragons could defeat earth demon level higher. A dragon martial artist at the first layer of the ascending dragon realm could easily deal with a second layer earth demon. But now, the black dragon that Kong Shinmu had transformed into was a 150-meter-long ordinary dragon. Obviously, it was not an ordinary dragon. The long-back thorn boar of the second layer of the earth demon hesitated and did not dare to come forward. It just kept howling, causing the surrounding long-back thorn boars to continuously gather, surrounding Kong Shinmu in the middle. This kind of encirclement was dispensable to Kong Shinmu, but he had not yet achieved his goal, so of course, he would not leave like this. Kill! If he wanted to lure out the other side's stronger long-back thorn boars, he could only kill a certain number of these long-back thorn boars. Otherwise, the other side would not even bother to appear. When the black dragon's body, which was 150 feet long, continued to roll in the dense forest, it charged towards the thorny porcupine after the thorny porcupine. The thorny porcupine demonic beasts suffered extremely heavy casualties. Immediately after, a few mournful howls rang out. From the depths of the dense forest, there was the earth-shaking sound of demonic beasts running. At least 3. That's enough. When Kong Shinmu heard those howls, he noticed that the surrounding ordinary long-back thorn boars had begun to retreat. He knew that the strongest of the long-back thorn boars had arrived. Kong Shinmu did not want to fight against the other side. After all, he was alone now, and it was impossible for him to defeat a fourth-layer earth demon. So when he heard these howls, he immediately turned and ran back to where Jiang Qingyun was. The luring plan was already halfway to success. Kong Shinmu transformed into a black dragon and flew rapidly through the dense forest of Heaven Drive Forest. At the same time, there were more than 10 long-back thorn boars following behind him. One of them was a fourth-layer earth demon leader, 2 were third-layer earth demons, and the rest were first-layer or second-layer earth demons. These long-back thorn boars were much more united than the thorny lynx from before. When they discovered an external enemy, they almost immediately swarmed forward. Even the first-layer and second-layer long-back thorn boars did not hesitate and wanted to kill Kong Shinmu without fear of death. This situation was exactly what Kong Shinmu wanted. He transformed into a black dragon and rushed toward the territory of the flying beasts as fast as he could. He could feel the intense footsteps of the long-back thorn boars behind him. If he had not transformed into a dragon, Kong Shinmu would not have been able to escape the pursuit of those long-back thorn boars. However, when he transformed into a black dragon and flew through the air, his speed was much faster. Soon, he discovered that there were 2 long-back thorn boars that could also float in the air. There was a thin membrane between the spikes on these 2 long-back thorn boars. By relying on this membrane, they could actually glide over short distances at an extremely fast speed. Before Jiang Shenwu could react, the 2 gliding back thorn boars had already landed on the back of the black dragon he had transformed into, and each of them began to bite at the black dragon. However, although these 2 thorny back porcupine boars could glide, they were only at the first layer of the earth demon realm. In addition, they had used the power of the earth to strengthen the membrane on their backs, which allowed them to glide, so their fangs were not sharp and could not hurt Jiang Shenwu too deeply. Kong Shinmu swung his dragon body in the air and rushed into the territory of the flying beasts in the blink of an eye. Then, his entire black dragon body suddenly disappeared. Since he wanted these long-back thorn boars to deal with Jiang Qingyun, it was naturally time for Kong Shinmu to disappear in front of these long-back thorn boars. He directly reverted from his dragon form to his human form and disappeared into the dense forest in a flash. Fortunately, the long-back thorn boars did not have a particularly sensitive sense of smell. After hiding in the forest, Kong Shinmu curled up into a ball and covered himself with soil, successfully hiding his tracks. In front of him, there were faint sounds of an intense battle, which attracted the attention of the long-back thorn boars. Chapter 38:17. A large group of enraged deep-back thorn boars charged to the front. The moment they saw Jiang Qingyun and the other two mystical dragons, their eyes seemed to be spitting fire. Without thinking, they charged over. Jiang Qingyun and the other two transformed into their mystical dragon forms and happened to be fighting with a few flying earth demons. They were flying earth demons of 3 different races: white-feathered chicken, red-feathered chicken, and ink-feathered chicken. Among them, there was an ink-feathered chicken at the level of 4th Heaven Earth Demon, a white-feathered chicken at the level of 3rd Heaven Earth Demon, and a red-feathered chicken at the level of 3rd Heaven Earth Demon. The 3 flying beasts fought with the 3 mystical dragons in the dense forest. Although they were at a disadvantage in terms of size, these flying earth demons were extremely agile. Relying on their superior agility and familiarity with the surrounding terrain, Jiang Qingyun and the others were unable to deal with these flying beasts in a short period of time. Just at this moment, a berserk deep-back thorn boar suddenly charged into the battle and launched a ferocious attack at the 3 mystical dragons. This situation made Jiang Qingyun curse silently. Where did these wild boars come from? Why did they meet with accidents in both of their recent earth demon hunts? Could it be that someone was plotting against them? Jiang Qingyun was not an idiot. If he had failed to slay the demons twice in a row, there must have been some accident. And now, these long-back barbed boars would not run over from the side for no reason at all. The only possibility was that someone had lured them over. Who could it be? Jiang Qingyun gritted his teeth. If he found out who it was, he would definitely let the other party have a taste of suffering. But now, he didn't have the time to find out who had lured this large group of deep-back thorn boars over. This was because even though these deep-back thorn boars couldn't fly, they had extremely strong jumping abilities. They had no problem leaping tens of feet in a single leap. The moment they discovered the 3 mystical dragons, they immediately leaped into the air. The leader of the 4th Heaven Earth Demon Backthorn Boars bared its sharp fangs that glinted with a bloodthirsty light. After leaping into the air, it instantly pounced on one of Jiang Qingyun's lackeys. That lackey had been severely injured while fighting the Thorn Bobcat Earth Demon. Although he had taken a healing pill, he hadn't fully recovered. Now that he was being attacked by the leader of the 4th Heaven Earth Demon Backthorn Boars, he was instantly at a disadvantage. The defensive abilities of this Emerald Rock Dragon were not weak. However, the opponent it encountered was too strong. The back-piercing pig leader did not have any suspense. It directly pounced on the body of this divine dragon and dragged it to the ground in the dense forest. Then, even more deep-back thorn boars pounced towards the Emerald Rock Dragon. At least 4 or 5 deep-back thorn boar earth demons' sharp tusks pierced into the dragon's body. When Jiang Qingyun saw this, he immediately gritted his teeth. He couldn't watch his subordinates die. The Navy Azure Blade Dragon's figure moved, and it landed from mid-air with a loud bang. With a swing of its dragon tail, the 2 tail blades directly swept away the 2 backstabbing boars. However, when the Backthorn Pig leader saw this, it ferociously charged towards the Navy Azure Blade Dragon. A terrifying power instantly erupted. Jiang Qingyun only saw a sturdy figure rushing at him at an extremely fast speed. Then, his navy blue blade dragon body was pierced by 2 sharp fangs. The terrifying brute force even knocked away the navy blue blade dragon's divine dragon body. When the birds in the sky saw this, they were naturally extremely angry. Not only did these dragon warriors dare to intrude into their territory, but now even these backstabbing pigs dared to casually barge in. Weren't they looking down on them too much? The ink feather chicken that was at the 4th layer of the Earth Demon realm didn't even think as it charged towards the strongest group. The Navy Azure Saber Dragon, the ink feather chicken, and the deep back thorn boar leader, the 3 strongest experts all ended up in a chaotic battle. Jiang Qingyun wanted to get rid of these 2 earth demons. The ink feather chicken also wanted to get rid of Jiang Qingyun and the deep back thorn boar leader. Only the deep-back thorn boar leader only targeted Jiang Qingyun and not the ink feather chicken. This also caused the ink feather chicken to feel the least pressure. Moreover, the ink feather chicken was not stupid. It was more inclined to join hands with the earth demons to get rid of the dragon warrior first. For a moment, Jiang Qingyun was facing a pincer attack from two fourth-layer earth demons. The pressure was enormous. Not to mention saving his subordinates, even he himself couldn't handle it. The deep-back thornboar leader's terrifying brute force was able to block his navy blue dragon bone saber head-on. Meanwhile, the ink feather chicken kept sneak attacking from the back. Its body was extremely agile, causing Jiang Qingyun to feel extreme pain. Even though the navy azure blade dragon was protected by many dragon bone sabers, the wounds on its body were still increasing. Many of the wounds were so deep that bones could be seen. Even though the ink feather chicken was small, its wings were strengthened by the power of the earth. Each feather had extremely strong penetrative and destructive power. In this kind of chaotic battle, the ones who were in the worst situation were Jiang Qingyun's two subordinates. The emerald rock dragon was facing off against the backthorn hog earth demons, so it could only run away. The clear wave water dragon was facing off against the sky full of black chicken earth demons, but it couldn't even run away. These birds were simply too fast. The clear wave water dragon situation isn't too good. But it has nothing to do with me. Kong Shinmu couldn't be bothered to care about the outcome of Jiang Qingyun's group. The most important thing for him now was to obtain more earth demon cores. In this kind of chaotic battle, fishing in troubled waters was undoubtedly the best way to reap the most benefits. Seeing the deep-back thornboars chase after the emerald rock dragon and gradually leave the area where Jiang Qingyun was fighting, Kong Shinmu silently chased after them. Kong Shinmu counted. Among the deep-back thornboars chasing after the emerald rock dragon, there were mainly 2 third-layer earth demons, 4 second-layer earth demons, and 4 first-layer earth demons. In total, there were 10 deep-back thornboars. If it wasn't for the 2 third-layer deep-back thornboars, the emerald rock dragon might have been able to resist for a while. Even though there were many of them, the first and second-layer earth demons had limited combat power. There was no need for it to run for its life. However, with the 2 third-layer deep-back thornboars around, the emerald rock dragon could only run. Kong Shinmu sprinted through the dense forest, paying attention to hiding himself. He wasn't afraid of Jiang Qingyun's subordinates finding him, but he was afraid of being discovered by the deep-back thornboars. If that happened, the deep-back thornboars' targets would instantly shift to him. Therefore, he stealthily moved through the dense forest. Suddenly, he found an opportunity and pounced towards the battlefield. He gathered devouring power in his hand and instantly landed on the body of a first-layer deep-back thorn boar. This deep-back thorn boar was relatively slow, so the distance between them gradually widened. Kong Shinmu directly pounced on it and transformed into a black dragon. His fangs instantly pierced into the boar's body. Chapter 38:18. Kong Shinmu followed the Emerald Rock Dragon's escape route and killed the back spiny boars that had fallen behind. Very quickly, he had killed 6 deep-back thorn boars. In the end, there were only 2 Earth Demon Level 3 and 2 Earth Demon Level 2 deep-back thorn boars chasing after the Emerald Rock Dragon. The deep-back thorn boars didn't suspect anything. They just thought that their companions had fallen behind. As expected of a barbaric beast, their intelligence was on the low side. However, after such a long chase, they finally caught up to the Emerald Rock Dragon. The 4 back spiny boars kept attacking the Emerald Rock Dragon. The Emerald Rock Dragon's natural ability was the power of rocks. It could condense large rocks to attack or defend. However, the Emerald Rock Dragon couldn't defend against the combined attacks of the 4 back spiny boars. Of course, in this desperate situation, the Emerald Rock Dragon fought back with all its might. The 4 long-back razor pigs weren't having a good time either. More and more of the long-back razor pigs were smashed by the falling rocks. Those were the attacking rocks that the Emerald Rock Dragon had condensed. The boulders that fell from the sky were very destructive. The second-layer back spiny boars couldn't defend against them at all. They were immediately injured and their fighting strength was reduced by half. However, the third-layer back spiny boars weren't easy to deal with. On one hand, they were more agile and wouldn't be hit by the boulders. On the other hand, even if they were hit, their bodies were sturdier and they would only suffer minor injuries. As the Emerald Rock Dragon's stamina was depleted, the 4 thorny barbed porcupine boars finally gained the upper hand. However, after a long battle, the thorny barbed porcupine boars were gasping for breath. Their bodies were covered in wounds of various sizes from the Emerald Rock Dragon's attacks. A third-layer back spiny boar stepped on the Emerald Rock Dragon's back and stabbed its fangs into the dragon's body. Dragon blood splattered everywhere. The Emerald Rock Dragon grew weaker and weaker. It was about to lose consciousness. Almost there. Kong Shinmu finally decided to make a move. On one hand, the Emerald Rock Dragon was about to die and the back spiny boars were injured. On the other hand, if he made a move now, Jiang Qingyun's subordinate wouldn't recognize him. Even if he hadn't completely lost his consciousness, Kong Shinmu would still be a 150 feet long ordinary dragon. In this batch of Jiang clan's dragon warriors that entered Heaven Drive Forest, none of them were ordinary dragons that were more than 15 feet long. Furthermore, Kong Shinmu was a weak black dragon that was 80 feet long, so it was even more impossible for him to be suspected. Taking 10,000 steps back, even if the other party suspected him, so what? The black dragon finally appeared on the battlefield. First, it completely annihilated the two earth demons of the second layer of the deep backthorn boars that were already injured and unable to move. Its dragon fangs directly pierced into the chests of the two deep backthorn boars, extracting their Yao cores. An injured second-layer earth demon could not possibly resist the current Kong Shinmu. The remaining two third-layer earth demons naturally discovered Kong Shinmu as well. Their eyes flashed with endless hatred and anger. Without thinking, they abandoned the dying Emerald Rock Dragon and charged towards Kong Shinmu. After all, the two deep backthorn boars still remembered that this black dragon had intruded into their territory and killed most of their brethren. However, they had neglected their current state. They had already expended a lot of energy fighting with the Emerald Rock Dragon, and had also suffered many injuries from the power of the earth. Did they have any chance of winning against this black dragon? Barbaric demon beasts had low intelligence, so Kong Shinmu didn't blame them. Along the way, Jiang Shenwu had continuously ambushed the bayonet thorny boars and had already obtained quite a number of Yao cores. After casually devouring one of the first-layer earth demons' Yao core, his entire body's strength had recovered to its peak state. On the other hand, the two bayonet thorny boars were both panting and injured. Even so, Kong Shinmu did not let his guard down. Facing the two deep backthorn boars that were charging towards him, he twisted his body and sank his dragon teeth into the back of one of the deep backthorn boars. His devouring power surged into the boar's body. The deep backthorn boar immediately howled in pain. It wanted to use its sharp claws and fangs to attack Kong Shinmu, but it discovered that its fangs and claws were too short to reach the black dragon's body. The main reason was that Kong Shinmu did not let go of the boar's back. The deep backthorn boar had no way of attacking him, unless the other party had some kind of long-range attack power. However, the deep backthorn boar clearly did not have such an ability. The other deep backthorn boar pounced ferociously, and its sharp claws landed on the black dragon's back. Very quickly, the black dragon's flesh and blood were mangled. Kong Shinmu was in great pain, but he was already used to this kind of pain. As he continued to devour the deep backthorn boar's life force and flesh essence, his injuries were constantly recovering, and he was constantly replenishing the strength he had expended. The terrifying effect of the devouring power was once again on display. Just one deep backthorn boar alone could not kill Kong Shinmu. As the life force of the deep backthorn boar that Kong Shinmu was biting down on drained, he once again recovered to his peak condition. As for the deep backthorn boar that was attacking him, it had expended even more strength and was unable to kill Kong Shinmu. At this point in the battle, there was no longer any suspense. As for the deep backthorn boar, it clearly did not have the concept of fleeing in its mind. It continued to pounce ferociously towards Kong Shinmu. The result was obvious. Not long after, the ground was littered with the corpses of the deep backthorn boars. Kong Shinmu had collected all the Earth Demon cores. Just this wave alone had earned him 18 points worth of Earth Demon cores. It could be said that it was a huge harvest. It was only because the Emerald Rock Dragon was attracting the aggro of the deep backthorn boars that Kong Shinmu had such a good opportunity. Now that the Emerald Rock Dragon was severely injured, Kong Shinmu could not be bothered to care about it. He knew that if other demonic beasts came over, they could easily kill the Emerald Rock Dragon. However, what did this fellow's life or death have to do with Kong Shinmu? If it was a friend, Kong Shinmu would not mind saving the other party once. However, it was obvious that the other party did not treat him as a friend, so there was no other way. After collecting so many Earth Demon cores, Kong Shinmu quietly left the place and returned to the battlefield where Jiang Qingyun was. He did not know how the battle was going. The clear wave water dragon was facing a sky full of flying demonic beasts. If this went on, Jiang Qingyun should be running away too. Kong Shinmu followed the path he came from and found that the other party had already moved the battlefield. There was nothing left of the original battlefield. It seemed that Jiang Qingyun had indeed escaped. He did not see the clear wave water dragon's corpse either. Could it be that Jiang Qingyun had run away with his subordinate? Chapter 38:19. In the Heaven Drive forest, it was soon noon and the sun was high in the sky. Kong Shinmu followed the traces of battle in the dense forest and advanced deeper into the Heaven Drive forest. Along the way, there were traces of battle between the Navy Azure Blade Dragon, Deep-back Thorn Boar, and Ink Feather Chicken, as well as other flying beasts and Deep-back Thorn Boar demon beasts. Gradually, Kong Shinmu discovered some traces of dragon blood on the ground. Clearly, even the Navy Azure Blade Dragon had been injured. Jiang Qingyun didn't have much chance of winning against the joint attack of two fourth-layer earth demons. What's more, Jiang Qingyun still had to protect one of his lackeys. That lackey was a clear ripple water dragon. Its innate ability was the power of water jade. It could slowly heal injuries on its body and replenish consumed energy. It was a bit similar to Kong Shinmu's devouring power, but the effect was much worse. Of course, the clear ripple water dragon's power didn't need to devour other people's energy to recover. This kind of method was quite good most of the time. It was just that in an intense battle, the clear ripple water dragon's ability was very useless. Jiang Qingyun escaped with the clear ripple water dragon. His speed wasn't slow. Unfortunately, whether it was the deep-back thorn boar or the ink feather chicken, their speed wasn't slow either. They were definitely following closely behind. Kong Shinmu chased after them. After traversing a few dozen miles of dense forest, he heard the sounds of fierce battle ahead. From the sounds, it seemed like there was an intense battle ahead. Moreover, the momentum was extremely great, making Kong Shinmu somewhat suspicious. Could it be that Jiang Qingyun, the deep-back thorn boar, and the ink feather chicken weren't the only existences ahead? Kong Shinmu restrained his curiosity and slowly advanced with extreme patience. Very quickly, he saw the situation ahead and couldn't help but be surprised. In the field, there really wasn't only Jiang Qingyun and his lackeys. There was actually another group of dragon warriors. This group of dragon warriors had a total of 3 people. One of them was the inheritor of the true dragon's blood essence, while the other 2 were lackeys. The composition was similar to Jiang Qingyun's at the beginning. However, although the number of dragon warriors had increased, the number of demon beasts had also increased. This place was the territory of the flying demon beasts. It was a place where another demon beast's territory intersected. Therefore, another type of demon beast had appeared. A total of 6 third-layer earth demon mad human beasts. The mad human beast's appearance was similar to that of a human, but its body was covered in long hair, and it looked a bit like a monkey. However, its body was much sturdier than a monkey's, and its brute force was extremely strong. Especially after stepping into the earth demon realm, its body was strengthened by the power of the earth, causing its body to become extremely strong. At this moment, 6 third-layer earth demon-level mad human beasts, the ink feather black chicken and several other earth demons, as well as a 4th-layer earth demon-level deep-back thorn boar, were working together to deal with the 5 dragon warriors. Hiding to the side, Kong Shinmu recognized the other 3 dragon warriors. They were the 3 dragon warriors from the Jiang clan's northern mansion. In other words, the inheritor of the true dragon's blood essence came from the same mansion as Jiang Liuxue. Jiang Liuxue, the inheritor of the true dragon's blood essence, will definitely obtain a high score in this demon-slaying training. With this person in front of me, the total score of the northern mansion will most likely be first in the entire Jiang clan. With a thought, Kong Shinmu gradually came up with a plan. Not only did he want to snatch Jiang Qingyun's Earth Demon's demon core, he also wanted to snatch the true dragon's demon core from the northern mansion's inheritor. At least, the demon cores of the demon beasts in front of him were things that Kong Shinmu wanted. Now that everyone else was out in the open, he was the only one hiding in the dark. Sitting on top of the mountain and watching the tigers fight, it was absolutely possible to obtain some benefits. However, some benefits were not enough. If Kong Shinmu wanted the Grand Supreme Mansion's total score to surpass the Northern Mansion, he had to at least make the inheritor of the True Dragon lose the ability to fight. Kong Shinmu remembered that the inheritor of the True Dragon's blood essence was named Jiang Qiue. He was Jiang Liuxue's cousin. He was similarly delicate and handsome, and his eyes flashed with arrogance. In the Jiang clan, to be able to obtain the inheritance of the True Dragon meant that one would at least become an elder in the future. As for the inheritor of the True Dragon's blood essence, he would be at the patriarch level. Jiang Qiue's cousin was Jiang Liuxue, and she was very likely to become the Jiang clan's patriarch in the future. She was extremely talented, and he himself was not weak. This caused his mentality to become inflated recently, and he looked down on everyone, including Jiang Qingyun, who was now in front of him. Jiang Qingyun had asked for help the moment he saw him, and had an extremely flattering expression. This made Jiang Qiue very happy, and now they were working together to deal with the earth demons. From the side, Kong Shinmu could tell that the relationship between Jiang Qingyun and Jiang Qiue was not that solid. But now, the situation had forced them to work together. I'll find an opportunity to attack. Jiang Shinwu did not act rashly. The situation on the battlefield was extremely unfavorable for the Dragon Warrior's side. After all, the number of earth demons on the other side was too many. There were a total of 8 third-layer Earth Demons and 2 fourth-layer Earth Demons. Their overall strength was extremely strong. Just the 2 fourth Firmament Earth Demons were enough to hold back Jiang Qingyun and Jiang Qiue. The remaining 3 Mortal Dragon Inheritors were unable to deal with the 8 third Firmament Earth Demons. They could only barely keep themselves alive. Furthermore, they were constantly injured. The 6 mad human beasts were all extremely crazy. They fought with no regard for their lives as they constantly attacked the 3 mortal dragon inheritors. The 3 of them had transformed into divine dragons? D10F? Among them, the clear wave water dragon hid far away. After all, it had not fully recovered from its injuries. The other 2 dragon warriors from the Northern Mansion had transformed into divine dragons. One of them had the power of lightning, and the other had the power of fire. Of course, the strength of the lightning dragon was definitely not comparable to Zhang Cheng. It was only a small mortal dragon that was 120 feet long. Of course, it was not considered small among mortal dragons, and its strength could be said to be top-notch among all the mortal dragon inheritors. It was also because of this that they could barely withstand the attacks of the 8 third-layer earth demons. Even though the 6 mad human beasts constantly attacked, they were still able to ensure that they did not suffer a fatal blow. Kong Shinmu stared at the battlefield, mainly in the direction of Jiang Qingyun and Jiang Qiue. If the 2 of them could kill their respective 4th-layer earth demons, the situation would become clear. Unfortunately, even if they had such strength, Kong Shinmu would not let it go so smoothly. The 4th-layer backbone pig earth demon was constantly fighting with Jiang Qingyun. Soon, Jiang Qingyun gained the upper hand. The navy blue saber dragon's body was extremely tyrannical. It constantly used the navy blue dragonbone saber to slash at the backbone pig, causing more and more wounds to appear on its body. You're tuning in to the Xueqi's Martial Arts Saga YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.